Does bass color matter? Or do crankbaits colors matter? Does a good looking crankbait matter? Does it matter to the bass? Does it matter to the angler? Does it matter at all? Well, when you have two people that had intentions of going live tonight and both stood up by their guests, you combine forces and you make up a topic and you hang out and you talk fishing.
That's right. We should have done this to begin with.
Yeah. So that is HellaBass Live on a Thursday night, presented by Arsenal Fishing and boosted by Powerhouse Lithium, with special guest Tackle Kraft, TK Stanley.
That's me.
Crankbait, snob, critic, aficionado.
Yeah, I was gonna put my name under Tackle Kraft, and I hit enter instead. But I was gonna put either unuglier or the de-uglier guy. I'm trying to do that from time to time.
Ryan is all for it. He's ready to crank some hogs.
I forgot my my hog cranking shirt.
Yeah, look it. You already got a comment on your fancy mic. Hog time.
Y'all don't crank them in the hogs yet. It's a little early.
You know where they were cranking hogs today was Sam Rayburn.
No cranking hogs?
No, canceled for wind. Bassmaster Open Day 1.
That's right.
And here, let's get your take on this one. They've already canceled Saturday. It's going to be a one-day shootout, 200 and some boats for a Bassmaster Open, one-day event only.
That sounds like it was by design.
So if let's say you put down your $2,000 and drove to Texas from Mobile, Alabama, how would you feel about a one-day $2,000 BFL derb called the Bassmaster Open?
I'd probably be kind of excited. I would much rather my odds as a stranger in a one day than 3.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like you can probably, you've got a better chance of getting lucky once than 3 times. But you still have to know your stuff.
I think the general consensus among anglers is they're ticked, not happy about it.
Oh, I bet. For sure. I mean, that's what people claim. You know, you've heard it before, the argument about the Classic, that it's the easiest tournament to win because it's limited field,
3 days.
3 days. So one day shootout, pretty good odds. Mike is definitely working.
It's like working exactly as intended.
You hear it? It's clear.
There's more comments already.
Dang.
I suppose the guys that are fishing the elites and the opens are happy because they know they can now leave and get home or like get to practice. So
yeah.
Fancy Mike, fancy painter dude.
Speaking of the Elite Series, did you see Matt Herron's post that got shared by Bassmaster?
I don't think so.
He was practicing. I think he looked like he was down in Florida, and he had a guy that
I did
passed
see Matt
him, and he said, "We take a picture of my fish." I caught a big one, and it's like a 13.5 pounder. Caught it on a fluke, like a Zoom fluke. Well,
on what kind of rod?
Good question. I don't know about that, but
spinner pole.
Yeah, but my old buddy Willie Pipkin in Austin, Texas, was beating the banks of Town Lake and caught a Share Lunker 13-pounder, also on a fluke. So if you want to catch a 13, just go throw a fluke.
You know, I'm not so sure if my dad's Share Lunker wasn't on a fluke.
In February?
It was definitely on a soft plastic. It was in Texas. It probably was February on Amistad.
I'm telling you, I think there's something to it.
A mag fluke or a fluke. If it wasn't that, it might have been a ring fry. But I want to say it was a fluke.
Yeah. AJ's got it figured out. Ditch the horses, ditch the glides, ditch the chatter piece, pick up the fluke. Put your pretty crankbaits away. You just need a little.
So no need for pretty balsa crankbaits. Just
that one's one of my favorites. I like that one so much. I narcissistically named it after myself.
oh.
But that's what you throw that in the trash or sell it.
You know, and what you're really saying
and
is
buy
no
9
different.
packs of these.
It looks a lot like this, what you're holding up.
Yes. Now you're talking. Except melt that, take a lighter and melt that lead off, and then you'll catch a 13.
So we're really fluke to jig head minnow is a very short, direct line of connectivity.
Mm-hmm. Hoping to get a balsa fluke in the mail. Clay, he kept it alive, and it looked like the old-fashioned way, bro.
A stringer?
Rope through the mouth. Just throw it in the water.
Kyle's willing to straight up trade me balsa for flukes. Stand-up guy?
Yeah. Seems a fair trade.
I probably don't even have to put hooks on them, do I, Kyle? You'll probably take them as is.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I've got the best of both worlds over here as far as crankbaits and soft plastic.
Patrick's still living high off the Eagles win. Cheers to Colby, 31 months. Team Hella membership.
Nice run, Colby.
Is that bush light still from when you were up north hanging out with AJ, or?
Yeah. Definitely rubbed off.
Nick got his whatnot package today, and since AJ's here, I let go one of my OG warts that I had AJ paint on whatnot, just to see.
Test the waters.
There was interest.
How was the whatnot?
It was pretty good. I'm pleased.
Did anybody get angry and say, find one of these and put these up?
No, there was a couple people that asked if I had like reels or saltwater and stuff, and I said no, and they just kind of went on to the next show, I'm sure.
Yeah, I see. I float around I lurk in some whatnot bass fishing comment sections, and people get a little bossy when they're not getting what they want. They like see one bait and they're like, "Hey, are you gonna put up some mega bass or what?" It's like, easy, bro. Get in there.
Just fishing. First time purchaser got some HellaBass stickers with his package, as first time buyers do.
Are you out of the presidential ones?
I have a few left. I think I'm going to hold on to the last few that I have
for posterity.
Yeah, or just put them on tackle boxes or something.
It is 2025.
We'll make some new ones maybe in 2028 if I can get my graphic guy to update it.
TK and AJ never went fishing with Hella. No, you might have thought we did.
They might have saw it you might have thought you saw it on a video.
You might have seen a video, but guess what? Didn't happen. That's what I'm gonna start doing with all my streams. It's like, we might have talked about that before, and then just go back and delete them all.
They are Guggen free auctions. You ready for a hard hitting question?
Hard hitting?
Reese's eggs.
No.
Better than the cups, or the cups? You just don't like Reese's, period?
No, I love them. It's too much.
Too much. You prefer the ratio of the original peanut butter cup?
No, actually, I prefer Halloween minis.
The minis.
I think the minis are the perfect bite.
I'll just eat the one I brought for you.
I like the minis. What about this? Frozen or room temperature?
Yeah. Both.
Both?
Yeah. Either. Yes. You don't get this flipping physique by skimping on whether it's a cold or a frozen or room temperature cup.
You definitely get the power bod.
Yeah. People are the The seasonals are better than the cups. The cups are still good.
Sure.
Yeah. What about that? You want to announce any juice here?
Can't wait for the Reese's Eater Egg Bait Drop.
Easter egg.
I'm not the Easter egg. Yes, I can't talk about that.
I did have. I don't know if you were in the chat. I think you were in the chat. Somebody was saying that they're sad because a pike stole their Little Debbie, and
Oh no,
they want another one.
who are they?
I don't remember his name. Maybe you should do a maybe instead of doing a drop, you could do a pre-order for those that had previously that need to just like get a replacement.
I would go and paint them one single bait just to make them happy, because if they're out there slinging the Little Debbie, that makes me glad. There's a lot of people like the first year I did those. There was a guy, I think he was in eastern Kansas, and I sold him in December, right? And like he went out there and fished it in like 30-degree weather and was like jacking him on it. He's like, man, this thing's awesome. And the fact that he went out there and it was so cold and he was catching them on a crankbait, it was pretty awesome.
Patrick, probably one of the last two. I'd go with the full swim bait rods, like the Buka or the 8.6. Depends on the rods. Depends if you're throwing mono or flower or braid as well.
Candy corn.
Candy corn, it looks a lot like when you think about it, what sun perch.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I've seen a couple people do candy corn baits. At this point, it's really hard to in the novelty department. All the easy stuff's done.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's kind of like music. You know what I mean? Like all the easy songs have already been written.
Big Deborah. Have you seen the Big Deborah shirt?
Have not.
Like the Little Debbie logo, little girl with the hat, like little white, right? Or at least that's what you recall it as. It may not actually.
Right. She actually didn't have a hat on.
The
Wendy's girl does.
Deborah, where she's got like
Big Deborah's.
Colby's gonna beat Brian tonight. Smash the like button. There you go. Here's the other thing. I would like to call out that this man right here. Oh, it's hard to do that. Oh, that's my arm key. This guy over here. 478 subscribers on YouTube. Do we think we could get him to 500 tonight?
No, we don't want everybody tells me I must stay underground and
so you'll delete people if they go and subscribe, or you'll just take down the channel, or what?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. But we
have 64 people in here. So if half of them are not subscribed to you now and they go subscribe, you could hit 500 tonight. So if you're into food talk, guitar talk, general rants, critiquing of crankbaits and lures, cranking hogs,
big,
an occasional fishing talk, I would definitely check out Tackle Kraft.
I'm the guy.
That's your niche. And no consistent schedule, often middle of the day live streams.
Yes.
I think correct. If you're in the chat, let me know if I missed anything on
extended outros.
Yeah. If you're looking for somebody that says it's time to go and then they say it 7 more times and 45 minutes later they're still talking and answering questions, also your guy.
No, I'm your guy. I am the guy. The guy who talks about cleaning up his office and then you tune in for 19 more streams and it still looks the same.
Also, if you like your bait makers never to have anything in stock on their website, he's also your guy.
I am. I got to revamp my website. There's too many options of nothing.
Yeah, You should probably really move up north with your Midwest goodbye, because
Is that a thing?
that is.
No.
Right.
Yeah. If you like a little heckling of
Oh, look at Rich G being a suck up.
Is he talking about you?
An occasional cameo from Amy, which is always
Occasionally.
nice.
She was supposed to be up here doing some shirts. She had a shirt that got real popular locally.
And he is the one person you need to subscribe to, because if you don't, you will never see his shows, because you can't depend on just showing up on Wednesday nights or something and seeing something.
No.
Good. You already got 3 subscribers.
No.
Yep, 481 already.
Went viral.
You're right. So
that's viral in my world.
before we actually look at a crankbait, how would you verbalize what makes a good-looking, a beautiful crankbait, or a non-ugly crankbait, or maybe what makes an ugly crankbait? Maybe you can verbalize it before we hold up some baits.
Well, as the old saying goes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but that's partially bullshit, because there's a line that you have to draw that no mother can find beautiful. Like, there's just certain baits that aren't I don't care what anybody says, there's no way that they will ever be in any way attractive to a fish, to an angler, whatever. They should have never been made. They should have they should have been left at the drawing board. The Crayola drawing, the preschool Crayola drawing board.
Does it matter more to the angler or to the fish?
I've seen both. I think the angler, there's levels to it, because there's some people that they can go buy a car and they just want a car. And the guy says, we got this blue one. Okay, give me the blue one. I need a car. That's the kind I want. Give me the blue one. But then there's people that's like, I want the Olympic white one. And they're like, well, we don't have one of those. It'll be 6 months. I said, well, I'll wait, and I want it Olympic white. And I'm like, okay. So if you're some guys, they can take a whatever crummy Strike King color out of the pack, and green gizzard, for instance, like, it's nothing fancy. It's like just oversprayed iridescent green, just a lot of iridescent green. And, people love that color and it catches them, but it's not something that would grab my eye, because it doesn't really contrast that much, and it doesn't have any ingredients that, to me, make it look sexy at all or appealing. But yeah, so I think it's certainly up to the angler what they need. I have needs.
Yeah, would you say that you're more particular than the average angler when it comes to looks of baits?
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, because it's just, I have the luxury of, and I used to be really bad about it, where I would get in a watercolor, and I would look at it and be like, I need a bait that's like chartreuse, but not like bright chartreuse, and it needs to be like, I would have it in my mind what the bait needed to look like, but I wouldn't have it. So then I would go paint it, and then but then I would go paint it and not get around to those set of conditions for another couple of years, and it wouldn't matter. But yeah, the only thing I don't really, no, I do. Never mind. I was going to say eye color. I don't really get that nerdy about, but I do.
Let's face it, you get hung up on a lot of things when it comes to baits.
Well, yeah, the body, like, on top of paint, the profile has to be sexy.
I mean,
There's
to
a there's
you, color matters, shape matters, profile,
everything.
eye spacing, eye size, eye color.
Yes, all of the above, everything that you can think of. Even like the size of the hook hanger wire. Like if you have like a big thick one on the back and like a little one on the front, that irks me.
Even the packaging sometimes.
Yeah, I've gotten to where I don't like red and yellow packaging because it's so overused in the fishing world that I'd rather buy a crankbait that isn't in that, or a pack of worms or whatever. It's just a turnoff.
What we're really learning is this isn't really about crankbaits. This is about unpacking what's in your head right now.
Yeah, pretty much. The moral of the story is,
if nothing else, everybody should feel a lot more sane after we go through this with Tackle Kraft.
Yeah, what we have learned about crankbait is TK is a kook.
It is a therapy session, Nick. I just didn't want to tell him ahead of time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's start with, since I tend to the demographic of my audience does trend a little Midwest. We'll go with a classic here.
The fat wrap.
The fat wrap.
Do you want my review?
Yeah.
I can't hate on it too much because of the time it was created in. It doesn't hold up to.
So era matters in this scenario.
I definitely think so. Like for the time, it's not too far off base. Like I feel like when the fat wrap was released, I would have probably been okay with it. It definitely needs some help, but for the most part, it's cute in its simplicity. It's clean.
What about the fact that they're not consistent? Like their natural patterns and eye placement and eyes are different than their simple colors.
Yeah, I will say I much prefer their older like printed shad like in that era versus like the new one. The new one doesn't make any sense. Like it looks like an afterthought.
So it's not your favorite, but
not my favorite, but that one
it gets a pass at least.
Yeah, that one's pretty cute. That one's pretty cute. I don't know when the fat wrap came out. 80s, I'm guessing.
Been around a long time.
Ooh, no.
The down deep rattling fat wrap.
I will say they get sexy points for the chartreuse bill,
which they had also like one of their shad ones had a red bill, translucent.
Yeah,
most of them were clear, but there was a few that they had colored bills.
Yeah, I like that.
Fire Tiger is one of your favorites.
Yeah, their squiggles are not high up on the aesthetics board, but body profile is pretty lame. Yeah,
it was kind of a unique lip at the time. Like
yeah,
that.
I feel like that's been used in our current state. I mean, it's kind of deep-ish.
These are kind of cousins, right? Like this was an evolution. They're like, we sell a zillion of these.
Yeah,
let's make one of these.
And it seems like I don't know how they design those baits because I've not thrown the big one, but a lot of manufacturers will take, especially now that you can do it on a computer, but they'll take like a bait that sells well and just like
scale it,
and that doesn't work a lot of the time.
Yeah, it would be better with sure sets. I agree.
Oh, the Risto's sexy.
You like the Risto?
I do like the Risto. It just looks fishy. You know what I mean? Like the fat wrap doesn't really look like anything. The Risto looks like a shad profile. Like it's got the look.
Bobby wants to know about the Horton Azuma. Assume that's a Profound Outdoors.
If it's profound, I'm sure it's profoundly hideous. Everything they have is gross. They missed on the hiring the. I wouldn't even say hiring because a lot of people hire people to design their baits and they do a
The
horrible
Azuma
job.
Z, is that what we're talking about, Bobby?
Extra points for Fire Tiger. Only on top waters. Profound or Spro? Ooh.
I think I go Spro. I thought Spro is definitely higher on the hierarchy than Profound for me.
Yeah. The Z-Boss looks like the 700 Bandit. Like, I'm pretty sure they jacked that from a 700 Bandit.
Which would make sense because 700 Bandit, being a ledge type bait, would have been right in that wheelhouse for those anglers down in that area that would have created these baits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see Timmy Horton like secretly throwing a 700 Bandit, and then
Darius doesn't catch her though.
Have you thrown the 700 Bandit? I would like to know how they hold up to each other.
Morgan wants to know what's more offensive, DC9 or Fire Tiger?
Fire Tiger. That one's easy. That one's easy.
Let's go with the classic here. Marty is not approving of Darius's.
Oh, Bandit 200?
Just a Bandit 200.
They are very sexy in their simplicity. They've got just enough body roll, and it all matches. And although I don't care for the beady eye, when they
the older beady eyes are not your favorite. You like the
so the very old ones when they dotted them really small. The era kind of after the triple grip era when they maybe moved from when they outsourced some of their painting, whoever was dotting the eyes was doing a lot bigger dot and it fit the bait better. I like those a lot better. But
what do you think of the butterscotch color?
Bandit had so many colors that they like anybody could find a Bandit color that even if you didn't like bandits, like you could find a Bandit color that you thought was like that you had to buy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I like the Bandit. Although the 300 to me is not as appealing as the 200 just in the looks department. Oh, gross. Yuck. That's double yuck. We have
Tiger, all of it.
We have a horrific. The only thing good is the eye color. I did like the red eyes that they used to put on the bombers and the Cordells.
It's the glitter Fire Tiger. What are we talking about here?
Not my favorite profile, but like as a kid, even I had this thing. So in '99 when Tim Horton won Angler of the Year, I think 99 2000, he won that tournament on the Potomac, and he was throwing a half-ounce Cordell Spot Fire Tiger. Well, I went out and bought one, but I chose to buy the one with the red eyes because the red eyes were sexier. But I didn't realize I was buying a suspending Cordell Spot. So I started fishing it, and I was like, man, this thing sucks. Like Tim Horton caught like a ton on it. Mine sucks. And then I read on the side it said suspending. Maybe I shouldn't have chosen the red eyes.
Is that one beady enough for you?
Yes, can't have that.
Triple
Can't
grip,
have those beady little
beady-eyed. I
eyes.
mean, look at the masking job on the bottom of that one. Like,
Oh
just
yeah, way up the lip. Yeah, they could have cleaned that up a little bit.
I mean, here's two of the same color, the same eyes. Both have triple grip, so I'm assuming they're pretty much the same genre.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the paint job difference on the bunch. This
Yeah.
one is like short, and the other one, like there's got to be 3/4 of an inch of difference in where the white stops at.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the one with the eyes worn off and the very tightly masked bill. You know, I did a poll one time, not an actual poll, but like I just asked a bunch of people like in a chat one day or on a post that if the way a bill was masked mattered to them. So when I would mask like a 1 point or a 1.5 or 2.5, I would mask it straight across, and then I would mask it at an angle to where it would clean the corners up, so you didn't get like a straight line across the front and a straight line across the bottom. So it would, you could see the whole bill, right?
Right.
So apparently, I'm the minority that thinks that looks good. Like, I was shocked at the amount of people that were like, dude, I don't care. Like, if you just tape it across the front of the bill, like, just leave it. So you want to know something about that?
You like precision masking.
Well, people ask me, well, they don't ask me. I've seen like comments about the Burns baits I painted, and they're like, that's really smart the way he leaves the front half of the bait kind of transparent. And the reason I do that is because I don't like the look of a bait with the lip slot painted over. So I try and leave it as transparent as I can so you can see the lip slot.
Huh.
And on those like a bait with a circuit board lip, it's so thin it's hard to mask. So I just, instead of trying to mask that little bitty thin lip, I would just try and paint the front half of the bait transparent. Is that one foiled?
This is the foil.
Oh yeah.
But you can see the lid slop better in that one, right?
Yep. I just like the look. It looks cleaner.
All right.
Well,
should have done this before I sold all those glittery Bill Normans the other night.
Oh man, those really tighten the pants up. That's probably one of my favorites because they're just clean and simple and sexy. Ooh, is it a deep little in?
I think so. Yeah.
I like the color. The eyes are decent. Profile's pretty good. It's kind of middle of the pack for me. Like it doesn't scream like.
But it's a solid fisher. You'd have no issues.
Yeah,
fishing
it doesn't irk me to fish one. Like I would
Sure.
tie on a deep little in and throw it and feel perfectly fine about it. Pose are gross. Swim school was right.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you got your DD14s, right? I mean,
I think the DD14 and 22 is definitely a sexier looking bait than the deep little in.
DD22. Here's this. Here's a classic.
Oh yeah, if you don't have one of those, like you've never bass fished. Like that chartreuse Joker, like that's a staple. Even if you don't throw it, people need one of those. Like just get on eBay, pay like $7 for one, and just put it in your box. I think it legitimizes you.
Even if you never throw it, you'll catch more bass.
For sure. Just having it, and then like people get in your boat and look at your stuff. They see that and they know you're the real deal. Like this dude ain't dicking around. He knows what's up. Trevor knows what's up. Normans do have, they get a little funky with their eyes.
Little
Is that a middle end? No, like the middle end's kind of quirky. It's like, it's pretty ugly, but it gets a pass. Oh boy,
That thing's pretty ugly.
That's pretty ugly.
I mean,
that's not a
like,
that's not a Norman though, because it's got eye slots.
No, I think it's like a Rebel. I think. But like, look at how bad the seam is on the bottom. The lip shape, the eyes. Like, yeah, it's just not a good looking bait.
I will say, Jan's Net Craft, way back in the day, like 20 years ago, they used to sell a deep little end knockoff, but instead of like a smooth finish, they had recessed eye holes. But they had a couple colors that were like stupid good fish catchers, and they were cheap. They were like $2.
How about this Norman where they never even put the dots in the eyes?
I kind of like those for some reason.
Like the dead eye, like the
like a dead eye. Yeah. Yep. DK showed me. Oh boy, is that a super scooper? Yeah, that one needs to go in the trash. And that one needs to be.
So who makes the super scooper?
Yeah, that one. That they need to. That needs to be part of the Mandela effect. We need to all think. We need to all think we saw that and then realize that it never existed.
All right. We'll get into a little more modern flat sides.
Ooh, always like the. Speaking of, I always liked the smoky colored boxes.
Yeah, is it because of the secrecy that you?
A little bit, yeah. Like it just looked a little like, you can look in here, but you can't look close.
Yeah, you can kind of see, but you can't really see.
Yeah, it's a little bit of mystery. The only plastic when's AJ going back to putting his eyes on the shoulders of his baits, on the neck of his baits?
Ooh, there's a lot to unpack here. Well, we talked about this one a little bit. Not this one specifically, but it came up. Tell us how you feel about Spro crankbaits.
Spro, I think they've done well. With a lot of their profiles are pretty decent, but they lost me at the half eye.
If they had different eyes, would the rest of it pass the test, or is it just the eyes for you?
The eyes bug me, and I liked them at first, but the older I get, the more they're just like a pathetic attempt to be different. It's like we'll just cut these eyes in half, and we can maybe like, make people think that we're doing something.
I don't know. I like the Spros. I don't have a problem with them.
I will say I can look past the eyes over some of their horrific paint jobs on the newer baits. See, that's pretty sexy. I like it. Looks the half eye looks pretty decent on a crawl.
They give you plenty of options where you can. I mean, you can get good colors from Spro.
Sure.
All right.
And they stand out. I mean, it worked. You know what I mean? Like everybody knows when they see a Spro bait, it's a Spro.
It's true.
So they accomplished their goal, whether I like it or not. But they lose me on a lot of their colors because they've got some new stuff out that is, I don't even know who would pass off on it. Like somebody had to sign off on a lot of these new colors, and I would like to know who that person was. Oh, gross.
6 cents flat 75.
I know it catches them, but it is ill proportioned. Like there's no cohesive thought in the profile of that bait.
If you don't like the flat 75, they came out with the F4.
That one's getting better, but it still looks like that.
I don't particularly love that color, but
no. I think you could slide the eye up on those and make it like one size bigger, and maybe round the back a little bit. I wouldn't have been happy with it. I wouldn't have looked at that profile and been like, "This is it. This is the one." But I know Casey, when he designed that bait, I want to say the first time he tried the prototype, caught like a 8-pounder on it or something on Conroe.
Sure.
So it like stamped the approval. Like he didn't have to. It didn't matter after that. It's like, all right, this one's getting.
I mean, I caught fish the first time I threw the flat 75.
Yeah, they catch them. They catch them. Can't speak.
The old chick magnet.
Oh God, that's the biggest. That might be the number one abomination in the last 5 years. I mean, I don't think crankbaits get uglier in modern day. I mean, if you're trying,
so, you're saying the chick magnet is definitely a bigger offender than the Fritz side?
Oh yeah,
100%. But you're not a super big fan of the Fritz side.
No, it's. I mean, it looks like they just started with a profile. And they're like, well, it needs eyes, so they put a couple little beady eyes on there, and it's like, all right, well, that's good enough. Then it's not. You know what I mean? It's like it costs the same if that bait looks like a megabass compared to that. They're all injecting plastic into a mold. It doesn't matter how, pretty or ugly, it's the same.
It's not our Fritz side.
No.
Okay. So while we're in that,
and I think they could also a lot of times you can hide the ugly with good paint. You can kind of make people look past how ugly a bait is with some sexy paint jobs.
So where does the OG Slims fall in it?
They're repulsive too. They're flirting with the chick magnet. I think those because they put the eyes on the like even with the damn lip slot, so they look like what's his name from Goonies?
Sloth,
Baby Ruth. Oh, is that an Ima?
I'm a shaker.
I like it. I think they did justice to like a balsa bait, and like they made it look like that's what they should have done with the chick magnet. Like they get the eyes on the front, good like unique profile that's not like too out there. It works. Sloth look.
I'm sorry, Daniel. I would highly suggest YouTube Premium.
Oh man, that's definitely the way to go.
As much as I watch YouTube, it's a no-brainer for me for YouTube Premium. But
for sure. And we don't have real TV, so definitely makes sense for me.
All right, where was I going next here? I like the I'm a shaker. Should we go controversial here?
Sure. Oh, paint job's sexy as hell. Body profile, pretty decent.
Familiar body profile.
Very familiar. That was yeah, they just jacked that one straight out of the old Builder Dude and Painter Dude playbook.
Bling 55, huh?
Yeah. That was
Maybe
the
we'll just set that one out and look at it later.
yeah, so if anybody's curious, the Bling 55 was according to folklore, a pro got a hold of a Marty Burns balsa plug, and he liked it so much, he approached the people at Jackal and said, "I really like this bait," and they kind of worked around that and came up with that profile. And,
so you're saying these things have a striking similarity?
Yeah, I would say they do. I mean, they're pretty close.
Of course, I mean, there's different SB1s out there because
sure,
Marty carves them different, so there's variations of them. But
yeah, so this would have been a very early. He bought a dozen SB1s, according to Builder Dude. But I painted that color for a certain pro that was friends with another pro I had painted for, and he wanted one of his paint jobs, but he just wanted it darker. So I did that, and I did it. I put it's on my Instagram, and I did it on some flat sides that Burns carved actually, and yeah, he sent it off. Apparently, maybe they asked him, "Hey, is there any colors you want?" He said, "Yeah, this one."
all right, let's get some positivity out of here. Let's.
Oh yeah, that's top tier sex appeal. Lucky Craft captured everything.
The Lucky Craft is S tier for you.
Yes, they knew what they were doing. Like whoever designed that bait got an exquisite eye for detail and proportions and everything.
So I want to see the I'm a Shaker again. It's good bait. Catch them.
That's the thing about it is like it looks the part. It's sexy. Like it catches them. It's got the ingredients. Hardliner 57. Just by the name, I already know I don't want to see it.
So it doesn't even how it looks.
I don't even have to see it. I know it's a piece of shit. So not necessary.
TK's chart starts at 0 and goes down.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah, Lucky Craft had like some of their weird, like the Moonsault and some of the other Lucky Crafts they missed for the most part. But it was typically in the little small like crankbaits, but everything bigger than that, like all their liplesses they nailed, except for the ones with the big fins. Those kind of irked me. But all the LVRs and LVs and BDSs and RCs, they were all pointers, Sammys. I mean, the gunfish was a little bit goofy, but it was still pretty good looking. Trying to think of the ugliest Lucky Craft. It'd probably been one of those little small combats. One of those. The Moonsault doesn't look like it should be a Lucky Craft. Yeah, see, that's a sexy profile.
I think they're getting tight down there.
They are. So
what are your thoughts on the Hybrid Hunter? Frank the Tank wants to know.
The Hybrid Hunter, horrific. But it also gets a pass for its unique design. So most of these other crankbaits have competition in their category. So if I deem something ugly, I can probably find an alternative to it that I think sexy. Hybrid Hunter, you can't do that. You either get the Hybrid Hunter or you get the Six Sense one. And the Six Sense one doesn't do the same thing as the Hybrid Hunter. It gets a little deeper. And
Swank.
The Swank, whatever, yeah. I'm just looking at my wall. I used to have a painted one up there. But Yeah, it's pretty much the only one in its category. So you have to look past its ugliness.
Colby says he's been catching them on the BX Brat.
I gotta
Not a super fan.
I got a grudge against that one.
Don't you have a whole show about how you or rant about the BX Brat?
Oh yeah, that was my $1 million idea that was gonna retire me like 15 years ago. Like I developed, like I didn't develop it, but like I was like, I love balsa baits, I love plastic baits. I need to make a balsa bait, a plastic balsa cord bait that has like all the properties of a balsa bait, but it's durable and sexy like a plastic. And then that, like a couple years later at ICAST, Rapala came out with the Brat, and I was like, "Oh, you ruined it! You ruined it."
So I mean, I think this is an illustration of what you were talking about earlier. This bait, a 1.5 DD, or flat, right? And then the flat CBRMR, which very similar profile crankbaits. This one probably goes a little deeper, but like, right, similar shape, similar profile. This one super sexy to you. This one not so much.
No
cost differences. I mean, right? Like,
is that a Strike King in your hand?
This one is
that one, yeah.
It's the 1.5 flat DD, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna grab that one.
Baxter told me to buy it when I went to Pickwick.
Did it help?
I never caught anything on it.
Yeah, it's because it's too ugly.
Oh, let's wait on that one.
No. Swim School doesn't own a single Bandit or Strike King.
Ooh. Frank with a hard-hitting question.
What pattern do people ask for you that you think is ugly and wish you didn't have to paint?
How long do we have?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's been one recently that anytime somebody asks for it, like turns my stomach. What was it? Because it happened recently.
Look who's here.
Sun perch. No, I like sun perch a little bit. What was it? I feel like Eric asked for it. Maybe Sexy Shad. I have it. It still gets requested from time to time, believe it or not. Pineapple Smash? Nah.
You ever get requested for a Wonder Bread?
Maybe once. By Brian. I don't know that colors really irk me as much as when people ask for certain paint jobs on certain body profiles that don't work. For instance, one of my pet peeves is when somebody asks for like a crawfish on like a pointer 100. And it's like, dude, this stupidest thing you could possibly ask for. Just let me paint it red and like make it look like something else and not try and stretch a crawfish across it. No, paint me the crawfish pointer.
Glad you had a good dinner, Eric.
Gills on Shad Glide. That's another irk. But certain baits lend themselves to certain paint jobs, and I can't convince everybody of that. They want what they want, so I'm not gonna get in a pissing contest if you want your jerkbait to look like a crawfish, but I try and advise against it. There's a very famous classic winner that I painted a crawfish-looking jerkbait for. I don't know that it's ever seen the light of day. I'm trying to look through my pictures.
Your thoughts on the DT flats?
I don't. I know it's dumb, but I don't like the look of coffin bills. So I bought that and rounded the corners off and made it a non-coffin bill, and I guess destroyed all the properties of what the bait was designed to do. But it still ran great. And I've got it. If I didn't take my wall down, I could show you my hand-tuned DT flat with rounded. I guess I turned it into a flat shad wrap. Pretty much.
You're just giving people ammunition at this point just to troll you now.
Mega Dog C to paint a crawl pattern. Dude, I've had people the one that irked me really bad was I had and I tried to talk the dude out of it. I'm like, dude, this is gonna look so stupid. But he wanted his bull shad 4x4 painted in like a very realistic looking crawfish. Like he wanted the dots on it and stuff. I'm like, no, dude, like that is the farthest thing. Like it's got a brush tail. You know what I mean? Like it's got two big like holes in the side of the head. It's got 3 joints. It's not the candidate. It is not the candidate. I have a certain paint job for a certain bait. It's for a dozen. Is it worth asking? Yeah, dozen's a decent number.
Actually, I think painters actually prefer to paint multiples.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah, you don't want to get into the onesie twosie category.
The red sure set is what makes the baits.
Oh, for sure.
Bobby's going to bed. Good night, Bobby.
Well, Bobby's feeling to get rid of the crud. Probably made Mother Chaser crawl.
More to come. You can always catch the replay when you're driving to work or you're driving to the lake to fish with Scooter. You can catch the replay, Epicuric. It's going to be there. All right. So this is one of my favorite baits and my favorite colors. Fish catcher. Like I smash on this.
I like that. Not my favorite.
The profile. Well, I guess this is not your favorite color, not your favorite profile.
I'm not a huge fan of the shad print design that they used on those, but
this is what Rapala calls a parrot, by the way.
But I like the DT6 profile, so I can overlook the shortcomings of the shad design.
Red hooks for Eric.
But in Rapala or Rapala's defense, they have a style in their shad drawing. You know what I mean? Like the design of the shad that they update from the older days that still looks the part. You know what I mean? Like you can still tell it's them.
What would you rate the eyes on this crawdad?
AJ couldn't decide. He got confused.
He's caught in the middle.
Yeah. Those are eyes caught in. Those are eyes of a confused man.
Identity crisis.
Yeah, he was. He didn't know.
Look at them.
He didn't know who he was.
Made them pronoun eyes. Like
he was still learning. He was trying to decipher who he was.
Yeah.
Here's fun
fact: never broke a DT6 in my entire life, and I got a whole box of them.
I never broke one. I've had them sink. Never broke one.
I think the people that break the lips on them are doing it wrong as far as like.
Are they slappers?
See, but I like knock the weeds off but there's a technique to it.
You got to skim it.
You got to skim it so the weeds and the hooks drag in the water, but you're not slamming the bait. And I think that's what
I think there's a misconception when people see people do that, and they create a bad habit as a young man where they're just like.
And then
they saw Denny Brower at the Alabama River in 2002, and they thought he was trying to remove weeds, but instead he had just lost a 4-pounder.
This is interesting. So let's talk Lucky Craft Slim Shad versus Shad Wrap.
I'm gonna actually give the nod with the exception of the eyes to the Rapala, because it's like a sleek profile. It needs to be simple, and I think the gill plate and the eyes kind of busy up the Lucky Craft
on that style bait,
on that particular profile.
How do you feel about jointed Shad Wraps?
No, gross. But I have I have trauma with those, because my first bait was a jointed golden broken back minnow Rapala.
Yeah,
that was like the first crankbait that I remember. Like, me and my dad went to the fishing store, and he was like, "You need to get some baits for your first tackle box or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
So he told me I needed one of those, so I got one, and I would throw that thing relentlessly. And I don't know that I ever had a bite on it, but apparently it was much. Did you catch him on it?
I've never thrown the jointed minnow.
No.
I've caught fish on the jointed Shad Wrap.
Do you? Is it something you would throw now? Like, you keep one in your tackle box?
I keep it in here because I've seen them work on the river sometimes, but I don't. It's like one of those things, I've seen it work, so I have a couple in my box, but I don't know that I'll throw it.
Very you know what I mean? Situational. Yeah. Desperation-ish.
John Hogue says the jointed baits are awesome midsummer, wherever he is.
John's up there below you, above me.
Pretty much. That's DT4s, same category as DT6, or do you have different feelings?
They're pretty ugly.
So the DT6 is good, but the DT4 is ugly.
No, yeah, it is, but I like the DT4. It's kind of cute, and it wiggles good.
It's good in the grass.
Yeah, it's got a good.
Both of them are good in the grass, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mid cranks.
Which one are these?
It says mid crank on it.
Can I go get a beer before you crack Pandora's box?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Can't walk because my legs from a workout.
Yeah, we should revisit the workout. So while TK is getting refreshments, I will remind people that the Beat HellaBass group is up. There's a video out that I put out Monday with all the details and the passwords and the prizes. And Omnia Pro is sponsoring the league. So every event, Drain the Lake and Fantasy Fishing winners will get Omnia Pro. And I figure if you already have Omnia Pro, we should be able to extend you. So that's yeah. And then $100 gift cards, the year-end prize for Beat HellaBass Fantasy Fishing to Omnia. And if you're a Omnia Pro member, either by winning it or because you already are, the year-end prize will double. Contingency program. We're getting real fancy in Beat HellaBass land.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you a story. So I was digging upstairs and I found this box of it was like my toiletries from college that, like, I moved home and the box just got put upstairs. Well, I was cleaning it out a couple days ago, and I found 2 bottles of cologne, and one of them is Paul Sebastian. and I put it in my bathroom over here. And now when I walk down the hall, it's like emitting Paul Sebastian smell. It smells like there's like a 75-year-old like Hugh Hefner character hiding out in my bathroom. I walk down the hall and be like, I think there's some old geezer hiding out in the bathroom, but I gotta get rid of that stuff. Dracar.
Gotta be careful. You let that emit, you might end up with a third little one in the house. All right. Storm Magwort.
Mag. The Storm Mag. To me, it was one of those like
for sure. Like you can tell.
Yeah, the thing about it was the Storm eye placement was pretty decent, and they made them big enough that they fit. Like if they'd have put two little beady eyes on there, it would not be the same bait.
I think these hooks are just rusty and dull enough that you'd probably use them.
Oh yeah, those are just getting right. They probably got another year.
Similar size bait.
Ooh, gross.
D10? No.
No, the 6 and that exact same bait in the 6 is way sexier to me than that.
Just because you love Fire Tiger so much.
Is that a 10?
10 and Fire Tiger? That's what dreams are made of. Why is no, here? Actually, this one. You want to get TK really fired up?
Ooh, gross.
The DT8.
Yeah, they missed that one. I've got my burns are in there in the other room. There, I cleaned those up today. I was supposed to paint them today.
Weird. You didn't get them done?
No.
Weird.
I started helping my dad last couple days.
Had nothing to do with the 2 hours you spent on live the other day, barely getting any sanding done.
No, I actually went home and finished and still didn't get them done.
Okay.
And it doesn't help that I don't know what I want to paint them yet. So if I like had something that I was very definitive on what color. Is that a 6 Sense? Which one is that?
Yeah, that's the 6 Sense. Kind of gives you Lucky Craft vibes when you look at it, doesn't it?
Yeah, if Lucky Craft had a bastard child with a fat-free shad.
Because that's a flat CBDR, and this is whatever the 6 Sense. I do have this one in my medium diver.
I don't know what Burns called that one.
I don't remember. I had this one for a while. Got some fish on this one. It's got some big game right there.
I wouldn't say that's my favorite profile either, but it'll get the job done. But I'm a dick.
All right. Not a lot of variety in this deep diver box here.
You want to see some really ugly stuff?
Got some hand-picked gems here.
Yeah, so on the topic of, does this stuff matter? Who cares? Whatever. It's definitely up to the angler. But you hear me out if we're going fishing, I'm like, hella, I've been killing them, dude. Like, just smashing them. I can't go, but I'm gonna give you the bait. It's a lipless. You're like, okay. And I bring this to your house.
I had some of those, the frenzy power rattlers or whatever they were called.
All right, so this
Why
thing
don't
is
you have
so
a Fire Tiger though? That's the question.
This thing is so ugly that even that I've been catching them on it. It's so ugly that this is one of those baits that if you don't get bit immediately, it's so ugly that you can't continue to throw it. because it's in the back of your mind that this is the dumbest looking bait I've ever seen. So that means something. You know what I mean? Like if something is so repulsive and so dumb that you can't get it out of your mind, there's a lot of baits like that that are good baits, but they're so ill designed that if you don't catch fish on them immediately, you're not going to have any amount of confidence to continue throwing it enough to maybe see what it can do, or like see when the right time to throw it is.
Like the dancing eel.
Yeah, like it might be the best bait on the planet, but it's so stupid you're not going to come back around to it. It's like this. Like if you don't get caught
the Bill Lewis
get caught on 5 casts, you're not going to be digging around in your box in a couple weeks going, man, I should try that again. No, it's done. It's out for life. But, you know, some guy probably bought one of these, went out and caught them real good the first trip, and he like loves them. But
that's probably an amazing scope bait.
Yeah, it's probably gonna like this
thing's probably
be worth $200.
Boys are not talking about.
Could be.
Or you wreck them on that, and you can't get any more tails.
Wrecked them, damn near killed them. It's a pretty it's like a very DRT-ish JDM slot they cut to fit the. I forget what you call that joint in carpentry. Is that a dovetail?
I think so.
But or Hella, I was also on this wicked lipless bite, and I'll be at your house in the morning, and I'm going to give you this bait to throw.
I've never seen that.
They're crushing it, dude. How many casts are you going to give this thing if you don't get bit in 5?
4.
Exactly. Does it matter? Yes, it matters.
What is that?
This was a I believe this was a saltwater lure. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think people used to throw these for like Spanish mackerel and stuff like that.
You should put that on Whatnot.
I could. I need to figure out what the name of it is, but it's very crudely designed. So in that instance, color and design does matter, because nobody in the right mind is throwing that for more than 3 casts and thinking, you know, I'll just keep trying this. No. Why wouldn't they keep trying it? I'll wait in the comments. Why would you not throw this more than 5 times?
The question is, how does it end up in your box in the first place? But
that wasn't the question.
How did you end up with it?
Huh?
How did you end up with it?
I think that's part of my dad's old inshore saltwater tackle.
Okay.
So,
well, maybe next time you're over helping them, you just bring that with and go, "Hey, Pops.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Walk
me through this.
The one I don't
tell me why I should trust you anymore."
The one I don't have that I wish I had was the rabble rouser, and we had 2 of them. He had 2 in his box. So if you're not familiar with a rabble rouser, you should look that one up. Hella, can you pull that one up for us?
The rebel rouser?
Rabble.
I mean, I can maybe Google it.
Yeah, Google that one. RABBLE rouser, RAUSER. I've heard people mispronounce it. I've heard people mispronounce it rebel rouser, but it is rabble.
Does it have giant eyes on it?
It's got a lot of things.
Ooh, dang it. Is it that one?
That's one of them. They had a diving one with a crankbait bill. Shallow and deep. Yeah, you might have to type in lure. Oh, no.
Look at all that glory.
Yeah, look at that red one. That one. We had that one in yellow. Hell, the biggest bag of fish I ever caught in my life was on that. You throwing it next week? Nah.
There's the yellow one.
There they are. There's the whole little family.
They look better in the box.
I mean, that little white with the red eyes, that one's kind of appealing. Down in the bottom left.
Is it fair to say that this crankbait may have shocked you into your ways of your eyes? Like
I think so. When I
like,
saw it as a kid in my dad's tackle box, I was like, God bless America. What is this thing? What is this? And that was like, that bait was so offensive. Like, even 12-year-old me was offended by it, to the point where, like, when you're a kid, you'll throw anything because you don't have any lures. I would rather throw nothing than that as a 12-year-old.
Does have
I would rather.
lazy vibes.
I would sit out there and like fly fish with nothing on the end of my line, rather than throw the rabble rouser.
Everyone's most effective, ugliest bait. Mine is the Lore's Little Speedy or the Man's Thin Man.
They are ugly. Little Speedies. They're like they're kind of to me, they're kind of edgy in the ugly world. Like, they're so ugly, like they're kind of cool. There's a lot of baits like that.
I'm trying to think of an ugly bait that I have a lot of confidence in.
What's that one? The Is It? It's a hand carved balsa bait. Ronnie B bait. Long out of production. But the Is It is very strangely designed profile, but it's appealing in its weirdness. But as far as paint goes, like, say I called you up, Helen, and said we were good friends, and I lived in your neighborhood, and you liked me, and I just started painting, and I said, Hella,
it's a lot of ifs.
It's a lot of. I said, Hella, I just painted this. I painted myself this bait, and I'm really catching them good on it. And I know you're going fishing tomorrow, so I'm going to drop one off for you.
It's simple. The red hooks sell it for me, but
I mean,
it's too many red hooks. You should only have a red hook on the front one. But
how long are you confident in throwing this without getting a bite?
It's got a white belly, so as a topwater, I'm probably okay.
You're okay. Hell, that thing is getting 3 reps and you're done. And you're gonna say, sorry, buddy, I didn't catch any on your bait. And tying your vixen on. Your sexy one.
I don't have any sexy vixens.
No, you got them.
TK, I think it's time for HellaBass to come to Texas and fish with. Well, TK would have to go to Texas because he's not.
Yeah, we both have to go to Texas. I'm an Alabamian now, or as of 5 years ago.
Morgan says, "Bring that to Watch Tile. Chew the paint right off of it."
Greenhead props. What do you feel about this?
Well, I'm not much of a redfish shrimp dragger, so it's not something I'd throw very often.
Believe it or not, this bait works where there's no shrimp. I've heard lots of stories from guys down here leaving one of these tied on in their boat, going up to up
you
the
just
river.
held this up. I'm pretty sure this is just what I saw.
Exactly. So this is going to be, mark it down, timestamp this. When the scopers get a hold of the DOA shrimp, it's game over, bro. It's game over.
The future is now.
Sakamata shad, dog shit. This is where it's at.
Probably durable too. How many fish do you think you can catch on one of those?
Hundreds. It's like the hardest plastic you'd ever ask for.
How long was I out? I mean, you've only been in Mobile, Alabama for a decade.
Yeah. My kids are in college now.
Scope shrimp.
Yep. I bet you could. I bet you could.
I never was a fan of the Goby profiles.
Yeah, that would never really. Nobody
See,
ever really did that one great.
there's the Hella 2024 on the
Oh, there it
box.
is.
My lipless bait. You can get a lot of liplesses in a box. This thing is heavy.
Oh yeah, that's why I typically try and
Oh, well,
pick just a few.
Let's see here. We got that's
Is that a Daiwa?
I think those are most of those are Daiwas. There's a Lucky Craft.
Takahiro
There.
sell you on those?
Maybe.
You don't have a gold one.
I actually found a Lucky Craft. Right. So the Yozuri.
The Yozuri to me is one of the sexiest of all time.
His eyes just light up like
it's such a good profile, dude. Like it's got that sexy little knob right where the butthole is, and they slid the eyes up towards the nose, and it's got a nice little gill plate. It's just proportioned well. It's got all the right curves. It's sexy.
I need to put hooks on this sometime and try it.
Yeah, those are cool. Yours might sink. Some of them do. They weren't intended to.
The Quake.
The Quake, it's okay. It looks rough. It does, but it doesn't really.
I'm never going to get these crankbaits back in this box after I take them out. This is
no.
This is a problem. Okay.
I need to.
I'll see if he knows what this one is.
It looks like it's got the profile of a what is that with the big eye? The thing that's throwing me off is the paint.
Do the rotating hook hangers help you at all?
No, but it definitely turns me off. Pants definitely got looser when you did that. What is that?
Thunderhawk Sergeant.
Oh yeah. Thunderhawk not on the radar.
Yeah, it.
I know they do have an ugly square bill though.
Their square bill is much uglier than this.
Yeah, that was.
This is a catcher.
Appealing. What else we got in there? I'm trying to think. How do you feel about just like the standard old Bill Lewis?
We're getting there. Settle down.
Oh, sorry.
Put it back in your pants, TK.
How
about the Rockin' Vibe? Ima.
I like Ima's. Like,
I mean,
no pun intended. I like Ima's vibe. Ima's got a good. Whoever their designer is has a good eye.
Okay, so since you asked for it, this actually brings me back to a story.
The Ima does look a little more cartoony, but it's like right on the cusp of where it's animated, but it's still.
I gotta get
retains a little lifelike profile.
Shoot off. It's important to get this one out. This one has lore.
Speedy lore?
No, it has lore.
Oh.
As in story, history.
A pedigree?
Pedigree.
We can talk about pedigree too. Oh yeah.
You know what color that is?
Is it Texas Shad?
Lake Fork special.
Lake Fork, yeah.
That chrome with a little red faint strip. I had one of these that I somehow hit like a dock post and cracked the back third of it off. And all the BBs fell out.
Okay.
And I still kept fishing it today, and I just beat the brakes off of them.
Really?
Never was able to replicate it ever again. But that day that I broke it, I don't know what it was. Like they were.
So the BBs fell out and it took on water.
Yeah.
So it was heavier and silent.
Yeah.
Interesting. Are you talking about the? Is Ryan talking about the Orion? The Orion. I had one of those on the wall when it existed.
The Booyah. What's your stance? Is the Booyah and the Excalibur the same thing?
I don't think I can dig an Orion out of here.
Do you think there's any difference between a Booyah and an Excalibur?
I don't know. That's one of those things that kind of annoys me. And I know people talk about the weight and the sound. The sound is the one that really kind of tweaks me a little bit, makes me twitch.
Do you like the Booyah?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't own one. I only own Excalibur, so I can't comment. Is that a spot?
They're all spots.
Super spots is it's pretty boring, but I like the super spot.
But you've caught enough fish on them that you can overlook all that.
Yeah. It's got
it got bit in the first 5 casts, and you rode with it.
Pretty much, like it had a purpose, and it met the criteria. Dang, dude. I was looking for some ugly.
Red eye shads really tangle together. They just like mate in your box.
Dude. I can feel myself getting queasy just hearing the name.
You might like this one.
Oh yeah.
Get the focus.
Is that a 2-tap? What is that?
And it says Triton on the side. It's a Triton
boats.
Triton boats. Red eye. This is probably a red eye. It's old enough.
That's probably a good fish catcher.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those that's ugly, and they could have done better, but it has a purpose, and it at the time it definitely was unique in its category, so you could look past the ugliness enough to throw it. I've caught a bunch on a red eye. I didn't love them. Like, I didn't love looking at it. Like, I would have much preferred to look down and seen like an LV Lucky Craft sitting on my deck, but the red eye would probably catch it better.
Even though they're both lipless, they're very different crankbaits.
Very much. Very different. Oh, there's one. Look, I did find it.
That is the
Orion.
Orion.
How do you rank that one? You going to be throwing that tomorrow in the derb?
No, that's probably one that I never would have bought to begin with.
Right. Another check for, does it matter? Yes, it matters when you can't even get it off the shelf into your boat to give it a try.
The man's kangaroo.
Here's my whole wall.
That's the whole wall in one?
No, it's not the whole wall. It's a lot of the wall. It's a lot of the wall. It was this corner of the wall.
Morgan says he smashes on the XR50.
Well, what about the Booyah?
I'm not showing any mutant rats tonight. Get your own BBC.
That just increased my anxiety. It's a lot. What if I did it with 3 more boxes? Looking for ugly. Looking for ugly. I try and stay away from it. But sometimes they just find me.
Is that the smooth?
That is the smooth.
How about this little gem? How do you feel about this guy?
Oh, I like a speed trap.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like pretty much anything Lord Jensen.
Even the The hot lips and all that stuff.
Oh, the hot lips were very appealing because they were like space age, dude. They were way. I will say that about Lord Jensen is they were like 30 years too soon with their designs.
Brush baby.
Yeah, all of them were like wicked cool, like definitely space age designs that were way too forward.
So even in that color?
Yeah, it gets a pass. Their designer was
Oh, look at that. Never
was
realized I had what you have ranted about this. And I just realized I have never noticed this before. Get them apart here. Nobody's asking about the Band-Aid on my fingers today.
Yeah, how's that? Did you put some super glue in it?
No. I went to the doctor. Got some antibiotics.
Did you get rabies? Oh, you do have one of the Chinese.
The Chinese, we forgot to put the gill mark and the dot on it.
Yeah, because we were trying to make them so fast after KVD one. That's right.
Oh.
That just proved Hella had to have one. After he watched the Katawachi SmackDown, he said, I got to get me one of those chartreuse and black cranks. No, there's that Thunderhawk. Man, that's rough.
810.
Yeah. What was he thinking?
I don't know.
I'm going to sell a bunch of crankbaits.
This is kind of a fun one. It's just a KO.
It's like a smally color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Yeah. I think this was a Dudley Poteet.
Oh, yeah. What happened to that guy? He used to have the best blanks.
I've caught some fish on this thing.
If that's a Dudley, if that's one of his Lucky Craft knockoff blanks.
Yeah, there's his largemouth.
His baits were exquisite. Dogs barking. It's interesting.
Never mind the sure set on that.
Oh, what is going on?
I went through a phase. I won't deny it.
I tried them, but I would typically put them on the back.
Yeah. I haven't thrown them in 10 years. That's what you know about that bait.
That'd be a good bait.
Just a little. We talked about the brat.
Yeah. Huge miss.
I think when I look at this, I've had these baits for a long time. Long before I ever knew AJ, I had this crankbait.
Is that a petite?
It might be too. I'm not sure.
If you had that tied on your crankbait rod in the morning, how would that make you feel? What would your confidence level be?
High.
It would be?
Yeah.
Like you would look down at the deck and be like, man, that's sexy.
Yeah.
See, mine would be -3.
I like that one. I was a fan of these.
That paint job made me take a really big gulp of beer.
See if it like here back to the IMAs.
Yeah, Ima knows what's up. They have a good design.
Their square bills are good.
They did some goofy stuff, I feel like, with their eyes were pretty decent, but didn't they start putting Ima in the eyes?
Maybe.
I think that offended me. Not enough. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
That guy right there.
Oh yeah. See, they took such a boring paint job and they classed it up with the red dotted lateral line that made it look. It was just enough to
church it up.
It did church it up a little bit. It made it a signature look on the bait that you knew that's what it was. Yeah, but it didn't take away from the paint job. It added. Great. Those Lucky Craft
So
guys, they had a great eye.
I was watching Baxter's Whatnot stream the other night, and you kind of snooping around, and you got some praise from Bateman and Mike Russell, and
Yeah, he was being
they said
very,
nobody
very
does
friendly.
more with less paint than TK. And all I could think too, it's probably because he's usually running out of paint and he has to.
Yeah, I tend to run on
It's probably
fumes
out of
in the paint
necessity, and he
department.
just doesn't want to admit it.
Well, that's what Mike Babuka came by, and he was trying to he was going somewhere in Mississippi, like down to Biloxi or something, and I think he was trying to figure out what would be the best way to build a paint booth at his shop in Georgia. And so he swung by and was like, "Can I look at your paint room?" I was like, "Sure." So we walked back there, and I showed him, how it was all set up, and he looked around and he said, "Where's your paint?" I said, "It's right there." He's like, "That's it?" I said, "That's it." And he's like, "That's like 12 bottles." I was like, "That's all you need, man." And he was like, "Really?"
So you think Jen's got more than 10 bottles?
Yeah, he's like, "Jen's got like 300. I'm like, well, that's her. That's the way she does things. It's like I don't do things like that. Said I mix them. You know what I mean? I'd rather have 12 bottles and then mix what I want rather than I can't keep up any other way. That's why everything's never the same.
You know what that is?
What is that? Is that a Blitz?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are sexy.
Okay.
Very high.
Garrett could ask about some other JDM baits. I don't have a ton of JDM cranks. I went through my JDM phase. That's where I ended up with like those Daiwa crankbaits and a few others back in the day, and some of those Lucky Crafts when they were still considered JDM. But I kind of gotten out of my JDM phase.
I've got one that's real sexy. Where is it?
This replaced my JDM session.
Here's a real sexy one out of Arkansas. A feller painted, not me. Real nice guy. Quality human made that bait.
I've always been meaning to get a wattle bat based on Eric's recommendation, but I never have.
Wattle bats are cool. They do what they're supposed to do. My issue with the wattle bat is it's got one speed. And you better
it's not burning it.
No, and you better like it.
So Faith First Fishing.
Morgan made it on a string. Oh, what else we got here? I'm looking for that weird. Now here's a cool bait that I would love for like a, I don't know, like a Mark Jeffries to do a 20 feet deep on.
I think he's retired.
Like there's a story.
I remember that.
They did a promo video in Mexico. Think Tank Lures. So this is the steerable bait. You twitch it, and then head goes one way, and then you twitch it, and it goes the other way. Super cool design. Think Tank Triggerfish. That's it. Super cool design. And they like promoted for like a day. Like they had their little infomercial, and then they disappeared off the face of the planet. It was very odd.
Did you shop off the infomercial?
Yeah, I don't know what happened with them. Like something. There's a story there. There it is. Look at this thing. This is the most Japanese bait you'll ever see. It just screams Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's even got a hole in the mouth.
Is that supposed to be like an eye motion type bait where you just reel it and it just kind of swims, or
I don't know. But it was I bought it off like Ichiban Tackle back in the day because I thought it was oddly satisfying.
I bought most of my JDM off eBay back in the day.
Yeah, that was some pretty good stuff back then. You have to get lucky because you really couldn't figure out how to search for it because you wouldn't know the names of it. Here's you a little wattle bat.
Oh, look at that! That's a unique color.
What else?
But this is the kind of stuff that.
Oh yeah.
That if you want to know where all of TK's like the S tier starts and where everything else gets calibrated off, it's something like that.
Sex appeal. 10 out of 10, Ed.
11?
Close. That one might be creeping on 11.
Look at this mixing eras and genres.
Oh yeah. I have one of those that I painted for myself. Except
it's very selfish of you.
I know. I do that from time to time where I paint the colors that I want that maybe other people wouldn't want. So man. HellaBass has got some pretty goofy colors that is odd because HellaBass are expensive, right? And because HellaBass are expensive, people typically, when purchasing those, don't get a little experimental with their paint jobs. You know what I mean? You want to play it safe. You want to get the matte shad and like the pro blue and all the normal, like not funky colors. But it seems like it's been a trend in the last couple of years that guys are getting outside the box with HellaBass, specifically like 110s, smallmouth guys, and getting some of those wild colors and doing pretty good on them. But I think that's helped people maybe look outside the box and try different things. Not really, mainly maybe smallmouth guys compared to. I say that. They really don't want to get outside the box. They just want you to paint it to look like that. They don't want to try anything. You know what? Like they don't want to get outside the box. They just want their stuff to look like the outside of the box stuff.
Well, that's why
people already figured out
does all their weird stuff, and they call them respect colors, and they do limited quantities, so people just collect them and don't fish them.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I like.
What do you think of the Sunny Bee?
The Sunny Bee. It's goofy. I like the thinness of it. I don't like the flatness, like the straightness of the belly. Like it needs a little more something. If they would have cupped the belly a little more, it would be in like S crank category. Like I feel like they could have churched that one up a little bit. The Sunny Bees are supposed to be good. I think the maybe the mid diver of the two is the better one.
Yeah, that's the pro, the square bill. I think the regular one is. Oh, Black Label, Cliffs.
Yeah, Cliff does all right. Here's my problem with Black Label. Is you get different models of different baits from different times, and they all have different scale mesh that he used. He doesn't have a definitive scale pattern like Ed. Like if you buy a WC, Ed's scales are all the same on all his baits.
I mean, Bagley just changed the body shape and called it the same thing. So what's worse?
Yeah, well, I don't. Whatever Bagley did was not. Who knows? Like, yeah, they didn't even make the same bait, but their paint was all cohesive for the most part. It did change because the original Bagley mesh was wedding veil material, and then they, like myself, could not find that anymore in the appropriate size pattern. It looks small, but it looks maybe, I don't know.
I think that's what I sent you before.
But
are you talking about this Sunny Bee, Eric? Not enough. I've got a couple Sunny Bees, but I always forget to throw them to try them. Snowball wake. It was my issue that I don't throw wakes was my only issue with the snowball wake. I thought it was cool bait.
I haven't heard any reports back from the snowball.
Not getting a lot of like fish pictures of the snowball wake.
I don't get fish pictures, period.
That is not true.
I mean, I get them from you.
I send you and Marty pictures of.
No, I'm talking for the grand scheme of the amount of baits that I have floating around in the world. I should be getting more than I get. I don't get.
Maybe it's because you're unapproachable.
Maybe so. I don't know. I don't think people think I care.
I actually only send them to Marty because I know Marty cares. I know you don't. Some
people I've asked them like, oh, like you're doing good on that bait. Like they come back like years later and be like, oh, I love that bait. Can I get another one? Sure. And then be like, you had pictures all the time? I didn't know you wanted them. It's like, yeah, I would love to have seen them. But I think you have to be one of those guys that like, makes posts like, show us your fish catches. It's not a given.
I mean, if you posted people's fish catches, you'd get more fish catch pictures.
Right, exactly. Like I have to tell people.
Some people wouldn't send them to you if they knew you were going to post them also.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'd blur their face out if they like. Travis does send them once a year when he goes and smashes on them on the spook. That is true. When he goes on his adult spring break.
Now you've offended people. All the people that do send fish pics are now.
It's a small group. It's a small group. The campers are definitely generous with their fish. If
it wasn't fish pics, there'd be nothing to see, Eric.
Yeah. But there's a lot of baits I painted floating around. AJ said he didn't get any either.
What? I haven't caught that. No, that's not true. You're just saying in general. I sent AJ one day. I flooded his inbox on the river on a wigglewort.
Campers share, yeah, the campers do, but like, I'm talking like pre-camper when it was just me out in the wild. Like I was still moving a lot of baits, and those guys didn't share. They didn't share. But a lot of guys I talked to, they were they would like to keep stuff secret, and they wouldn't tell anybody about it, and they wouldn't even tell me if they were doing good on it. They would just
order more baits.
Yeah. But they wouldn't talk about what it was.
So which one is sexier?
Left.
My left or your?
My left. You're right.
This one?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm gonna have to put like some clear coat over it just so people know that it's a vixen.
I mean, is that from fish?
Yeah.
You didn't do it with a pocket knife? That's real.
That's all bass.
Yeah, that's as good as it gets right there.
And I don't hang it up. I break that out and fish it.
It's not as gnarly as the popper, but it's pretty good.
A gold hook shining through, Eric. So here's a TK job. There's no paint to wear off, so you don't really know whether you're getting any bites on it or not.
No. That was a sexy bait. Is that the one with the insert?
No, I think one of those. I have that somewhere. Oh, maybe it's almost covered it up. I did actually arm all those with hooks and prepare them for battle. This one's got a little bit of teeth marks in it.
Huh?
When the clear coat, this one's got little teeth marks in it from when the clear coat fell off before I had the clear coat redone.
Yeah, did that one stick?
Yeah.
I did something
It
weird.
is like a ghost bone, Eric. It is very much a ghost bone.
Have you thrown that one since it's been re-cleared and it didn't fail?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I did something weird with that paint. I got experimental. Not smart.
This guy's kind of on its. He's got a good start to it. It's barely
Yeah, that one's
legal.
getting there. They had the manufacturers of the Vixen had a hard time getting paint to stick to the polycarbonate plastic that those are made out of. Eric, I was impressed with it, but the reason I was impressed with it because I was going to do it before you ever said it. But I don't like to talk about it.
Yeah. They're just hard to get. I don't think they want to depend on it because they have like Brian, we don't talk about the clear balsa. You know that. You ever what about color names? Have you ever bought a bait based on the color name?
I haven't bought one because of the name, but I have not bought one because the bait name is stupid. But the color name, no, I will say in my younger days, I was a sucker for, and this is universal. Doesn't matter what the bait is. If it's somebody's name special, it's
like a
getting
signature.
bought. Yeah, if it's like Hella Special, Johnny's Special, yeah.
So not like the Fat Free Shad Bill Dance edition, but like if the color name is
if I go and I'm looking through the Fat Free Shads and there's one and it's like, Rich's Secret, it's like, oh yeah, that's the one.
like Wongil, like
yeah. If it has a name tied with us, like that's a good sales approach.
Does anybody know what this Tackle color is?
Is that one of the new ones they did? It looks IU-ish.
It's within the last 2 years. Stripper pole.
Stripper pole.
Yeah. So basically it's chrome with a bunch of glitter on it.
I don't know that I would.
I don't know. It caught my eye. Maybe I'm childish and immature.
Yeah, I would think the dumbness of the name might turn me on to a
Spearman knew it. That boy.
It might steer me towards another color. Pearl melon. That one sounds kind of like, what does that even mean?
Justin likes it. Lunch money would be a good. I feel like that is a color, isn't it?
That's got to be something somewhere, because I feel like that's that's a freebie for somebody.
I do like that, like 10.99 and payday or right 10.99 and don't think. I mean, I like 10.99 as a name like that. Like gives me confidence that it's called 10.99.
Yeah. The Reaction was king of the names.
They had
they owned that category. Like they're up here, everybody else is cutting grass down here. Nobody will. I don't think nobody will ever touch those guys.
The tramp stamps and
I mean, it's everything.
Sanchez and
it's this long the list, dude. Like all of them.
It's the goats. Those goat status.
They are, yeah, definitely. And design. Like I feel like Reaction is, in their prime, nobody has touched them. Or even come close.
California 420.
Yeah, I mean, from like I would probably consider them best American bait company, period,
All time.
all time. If they would have if they would have made the whatever that damn shitty crankbait was, they would have dicked that up. They would have
The
definitely
method crank.
the method, yeah. Buy 50, get one that works.
So I alluded to my double band-aids.
Dude, and I got a shit pot of those methods, but if they could have got the if they would have nailed the method, they would have been, because I feel like to be the goat, the true goat of goats, they need a hard bait.
Fixin'.
Oh, well, they didn't. I'm subsurface.
I mean, it's. I mean,
subsurface. And the crazy thing is, I think they had them. They just never went into production. I think you can see those. Maybe
one other thing I would say is, do the baits ever have to be in stock to be the greatest of all? No. Okay.
No.
Well, you don't worry about whether they're in stock or not because you don't fish. So.
Right. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I got enough. I got enough hanging on the wall.
Got enough double wide beavers back there to last you?
Yeah. And those go pretty quick, but I think I'm okay.
Epic Eric
Zoom
does not agree.
No. They're the best 6-inch lizard maker.
What about the centipede? True and near and dear to. We opened the show with the fluke.
But here's the difference. Reaction, they come out with a centipede. It's the sexiest thing you've ever seen. You didn't know centipedes could look sexy, but somehow Reaction made it sexy. And everybody else is sitting there with their thumb up their butts going, how'd they do that? Let me make one now. That's the difference. Everybody chase Reaction. No. Not anymore. Not anymore. But he was part of it. Never seen a method crank that works, actually. No, you're correct, Tim. I have
That would be a fun one to unpack on a camper stream with Josh.
What's that?
The history of.
No, I don't know if he'd do it.
No, it's too dark and too.
Yeah,
too much.
He probably wouldn't go there.
There are potentially some legality things that even.
No, I just think he'd just get filled with too much rage. Maybe, I don't know. It would probably be short and sweet.
Travis brought it up at Tulsa. It sounds like
the classic last year.
So that's not how you get a discount on the Eon Glide. Is not bringing in Reaction and t-shirts. Yeah, I guess I knew he was. Kind of running things, big part of it. I guess I didn't understand or realize that. I guess it kind of makes sense now, seeing he's so, front with Tato now. It makes sense, but I guess I never really, at the time, never really occurred to me. There wasn't any
there wasn't
official line in the stand, right? We were like, nope.
Right. No, who else?
So we could probably just go back to the years when Matt Herron had Reaction on his jersey, and when he didn't, then we could probably draw a pretty strong conclusion.
Maybe. I don't know. Man, they do all kinds of weird stuff.
That was the same thing. I've kind of picked it up lately, but yeah, it would be easy not to know because it wasn't really anything public, I guess.
But even they had a T-shirt when I was in college. I think it was they had just moved to Alabaster from Arizona, and they sold a T-shirt, and it was the Sweet Beaver T-shirt, and it had a little sketch of the Sweet Beaver. It glowed in the dark, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I asked Josh, I was like, you have any of those in like the storeroom or something? He's like, no, dude, we sold the shit out of those shirts. I was like, we'll do them again. He was like, nah. I'm like, go. Like, I want that. Now I'm going to go make my own. So, but it's not the same. Like it was.
You could do a glow in the dark outline of the native gill and put it on a shirt. It's just as rare.
Yeah, it would be. But yeah, they've done all kinds of cool stuff. Everything they did was cool.
What'd you think of the what was it called? The one with the two balls on the end.
The ball breaker?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes total sense. Like if you want your bait to do this on the fall, why not make it do this on the fall?
So I caught a 6.5 pounder behind Takahiro Mari on the ball breaker on Lake Amistad.
Were you in his boat?
Yeah.
Did he say, "Hey, what's that bait?"
No, he didn't.
He didn't care.
He was not having a good day. He was frustrated that I asked him to grab it for me.
Oh, he had to lip your six.
Yeah.
Little help here, Takahiro.
Yeah.
He said, "Nah, you get it."
Boy, Eric is really passionate about this Zoom versus reaction
it's not even
innovations.
close, dude. It's not even close.
It did.
Because you can't lump WEC into Zoom.
Now, if you merge the two, then that would definitely
change things. But outside of just making mass-produced baits, they're not a total package.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. Yeah, I mean,
they have nothing besides their bait line.
Soft plastics, right? There's no
brand.
Oh, look what we have here.
Oh, the wife's that you must have got the kiddos to sleep.
Greetings, Amy.
Greetings, Earthlings. The method crank is it does hinder their ability to be number one. They're still number one.
But yeah, I mean, like Zoom doesn't have any. I mean, they've had their share of duds.
How many Zoom names did Reaction steal?
How many Zoom names did Reaction steal? Like where they came up with a color and
now how many Reaction names and colors did Zoom use? Houdini, California 420. Should we keep going about how awesome and original they are? No. Come on, Eric. Feed me. There's not any.
I definitely, to have this discussion, you'd have to set criteria and agree upon the criteria and then do it, because I think you and Eric are judging on different criteria right now.
No, definitely. But I mean, Zoom is the all-American bait company.
I mean, on fish catches, Zoom slaughters them.
Oh, sure, 100%.
On
just on the lizard,
them, right? So I mean,
but I mean, I'm trying to think of a bait that Zoom has. The brush hog was, I guess,
I was just going to say the brush hog is an innovator for them. Like that created a category.
Sure.
Unless the bacon rind came out first.
And it could have. Basil bacon might have been the head of the curve. I don't know. But like I said, they have very fish catching designs, but that's where it ends. And that's all that matters, really. I mean,
Speed Craw.
Speed Craw's great. Consistent soft plastic, yeah. I'm looking at well-rounded brand.
Like, how many cool merch designs did Zoom ever come out with?
They've never had one. Like, it doesn't
That
exist.
cool hat that Brandon Cobb wears?
Yeah. No, that's the thing about it. Like, for as much as people love Zoom and use Zoom stuff, their brand, like their logo, should be everywhere, and it's not. It's nowhere. When's the last time you saw somebody with a Zoom shirt on? Probably haven't.
Mm.
I mean, it's rare. As many, like, if you think about as the amount of bass fishermen who own Zoom worms, you don't see like Zoom stuff.
You see stickers, maybe, but
yeah, you occasionally, but like, and I think the only reason you see that is because they started selling them at Bass Pro Shops. You know what I mean? Like Bass Pro Shops started selling stickers and stuff.
I think there is like every decent bait shop has a Zoom wall.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Cobb is the perfect representation of the Zoom brand.
That would make sense.
They should really go after Brandon Card next.
That would round out their pro staff. But even like they do need merch though. To not, I mean, I feel like
we just need Justin Bieber to wear a Zoom hat, and then
yeah, that would probably help things.
I mean, how much money has Johnny Morris made because Justin Bieber wore a Bass Pro hat? I mean, you see so many.
Oh, they're everywhere, dude.
Everywhere. And there was a time in my life where if I saw a kid wearing a Bass Pro hat, I would think about approaching them and actually talking fishing with them. Now I would never, because there's about a 0% chance they actually fish.
I'm trying to think who's like Swindle used to be he was a Zoom guy. Like, you know how much merch Swindle could have sold for Zoom? Buku. Hats, whatever. I guess they didn't care. There was nobody that cared. Like they sponsored people and gave people worms, but that's where it ended. Like they didn't have any kind of brand.
Zoom logo is negative cool factor.
Douche. Yeah. But they like, I feel like they kind of fit the time. And that's another thing that makes that like made reaction so good, was that like they proved that you could be more than just an old geezer bait company that doesn't know how to market, that doesn't know how to create a brand, that doesn't know how to do anything but like pour worms in a mold and like sell them to you and give a guy a couple bucks to tell people how good their worms are.
Should Zoom ever update their brand?
Should they? At this point, no. I think it's too late. Now it would just piss people off like Yamamoto. But they should have probably. True Tungsten, great logo, great brand. They had it figured out. They could have been great if they didn't snort it all up their nose.
I was gonna say they had some things figured out. I don't know if they had it figured out.
They knew having a good time figured out.
The fish harder slogan.
Yeah. I was all about True Tungsten.
I mean, they had all your guys. I mean, Brower was there.
Yeah, they had everybody, dude. They had everybody. They had cool baits. They had cool stuff.
Surprising, the True Tungsten jigs I put on one out the other night were hot.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What about speaking of tungsten? What's it? Whatever.
Jason Quinn hardware all over the package.
Whatever happened to Woo Tungsten?
They're still around.
Yeah, but you're not seeing the
Well,
Woo
they must have
army.
got rid of their 5 million pro staffers through whatever that company was that.
You think they built up enough of their Woo staff that they don't have to give everybody a discount?
I think Zoom should update. I have a lot of old stock. If Zoom updates, do all the old bags become more valuable?
Possibly. Possibly. I'd like to. Yeah, Woo. Everybody pumping Woo. You don't see many guys pumping Woo. Who doesn't have many baits that Morgan likes?
You know the Bass Tech? I have a couple Bass Tech shirts that I made, and I had like a print on demand store where you could buy shirts, but I didn't really keep that up. Should we get real here?
Anthony Geis is right. The
Honest feedback.
Jackal, on the other hand, best logo in the game. Great logo. You want to, like, you see Jackal's logo and you don't even know jack shit about them, and you want to be part of whatever it is they do. Bass Tech, what are we looking at?
I don't know. What do you see? But when you see this on the shelf, you end up in. I'll
look at it. It doesn't offend me. It's concise. Bass Tech. I give it a look. Yeah, I don't think it's. I think it's nice. Like, it fits. You're not trying to go head to head with reaction. I mean,
no.
You're
Paul and myself spent about 30 minutes on that. So
there you go. Mission accomplished. Looks like it. But that was the goal.
Oh, controversial.
No. Eric's
Do
really
the new
salty
Senkos
tonight.
feel
He's
the
really
same as the OG Senkos? Do the new branded packages, are they the same Senkos or have they changed?
placebo.
Has GSM ruined the Senko?
They
Or did they make it better?
No, they changed the salt, I bet, because it was too expensive. The popcorn salt from Gary is too expensive. They sourced other salt. Who we got?
Old school Bill logo.
The old school Bill Lewis. Yeah, Bill Lewis had a great logo. Now they made it their eyeball for.
Pickle Gravy given the Bass Tech endorsement.
Hella wouldn't let me use his Bass Tech jigs. He was very protective of me. He said I don't have enough.
I guess we weren't really on a jig bite while you were here, I don't think.
No, there was something. There was something happened where I asked you for one, and you were like, no. It was like a size or like a color or something. You're like, I don't think I have that here, like in the boat. I don't remember what it was. There was something that I thought.
Surprisingly, I don't carry as many in the boat as I should. So maybe.
Yeah, maybe that was it. That I was like, "Where's the Bass Techs?" And then it was like not a like half of your boat full.
Probably because I knew all I wanted to do was catch them on a frog that week, and I didn't bring the rest of the stuff.
Probably. The new Yamamoto packaging is offensive. Yes, it is. That's what I noticed. I actually have a pack of. I have one pack of Senkos. This is the ones I usually bought. The Slurpees.
The Northland Slurpees. The lipstick, right?
Huh?
Or no. What are they called? The lipstick?
I don't know. They were just always cheap. Soft and chewy Slurpees. They're salted and spiced with sow sauce, and fish slurp them up.
How about this package?
That's old Kinami from Derek Yamamoto.
They did eat the jig. That was the dragon jig. Yeah. Smallmouth don't count.
They were so greasy. I don't think my Slurpees do that. They might though. This kind of, I mean, they're pretty. Yeah, look how stiff that is.
Up in Minnesota, it doesn't matter. They'll bite that.
I'll pitch them anyway. I don't throw them weightless. It doesn't matter. Speaking of weird designs, this was one that really disappointed me. It's called
Saber bug?
The saber-tail bug. And I saw a video of this thing, and talk about sex appeal. It was 9. It was 9. The action of this little stupid thing was very appealing. I never could get bit on that thing. Ever. And I threw it a lot. Like it was sexy enough that I would revisit it like over the years, and still haven't found a place where it actually worked. I don't know how you were supposed to do that.
What are your thoughts on the pre-molded chartreuse?
Not a fan.
Yeah,
I own 1 pack of watermelon red with a chartreuse tail, but I don't like. I always shun them because I can give blue a pass. Chartreuse is
the black and blue.
Yeah, the chartreuse is too much. But
AG, I mopped them up on the bungee worms on Gull Lake one time. My first trip ever to the regionals, I was jig worm and a bungee worm in electric blue.
What's a bungee worm?
Are you even a fisherman?
A bungee worm?
A Berkeley bungee worm?
I'm not a Berkeley guy, dude.
What are you, from the South? Bro?
Exactly. We're Zoom people. The greatest fishing company on planet Earth.
A bungee worm?
Bungee worm. No, I never heard of such.
There's not even any good pictures on.
Are you sure you were throwing a bungee worm?
Okay, here's. Okay, it's
look like a fruit roll up.
So they came like this.
That looks like the guide of a fishing pole. Like that's like you broke the tip off your fishing pole.
Like it was attached. And then you'd break it apart and snip that off. And then the theory was that when you pull it the water, it would straighten out and then it would recoil back to that position.
How many people do you think fished that attached and never knew to break it free and said, these things suck?
I always broke it apart, so that wasn't an issue for me.
What about sweet beaver? Did you tear or did you leave it straight?
Mixed it up.
Mixed it up. I always left mine straight. Like I always left mine attached.
Sometimes 1, sometimes 2. Kind of
Probably
depending
why
on
they got discontinued. Everybody was throwing them still attached. The spring. What about the walking worm? I remember seeing those.
The bungee hogs had a lot of things going on.
No, is that
so? You had to pull apart all of these things.
All of those are attached that you have to release.
There's one on each side, I guess. You had to pull apart, and then you had a traditional.
See, I would be more likely to buy that than I would be as a brush hog. It's a little more appealing to the eye.
Secondary action.
It's a little more appealing to me. Was that the power hog?
It's a version of the power hog.
Isn't that what the power hog looks like, minus the bungee appendages?
Yeah.
Those I don't know why people ever wanted to make the water dog looking baits with the big head on the lizard body. Those always looked terrible. Definitely offensive.
I don't even know what that is. I'm not sure which one that one is.
I think I'm offended by a lot of Strike King soft plastics. They don't appeal to me.
Like rage bugs.
Yeah, like I didn't think I had any Strike King plastics, but I did find a pack. And it's the Rage Crawl. These things are stupid looking. Yes. I don't like the way they look. So I'll probably give these away to somebody. I'm
It's a
never gonna do
giveaway
that.
on Whatnot on your next stream.
Yeah, you can get a brand new pack of Rage Tail Crawls in Bama Bug from Bama Guy.
I think we've established that,
Eric is correct.
if there's one thing anybody has learned tonight, that if
it doesn't please,
if
yeah,
it doesn't make him tingly, he ain't throwing it.
Yeah, if I don't feel it down in my plums.
I mean, is there any amount of fish catches that you can see in front of you that can change your perception?
It takes a lot.
Like, you need to be just curb stomped, like in the same boat, like
after days.
After days, like switching rods, front to back, different tide, different weather conditions. Like,
I mean, it takes a lot for me to be like, you know what? I'll try that.
So that's one for me, Clotilde. I could never wrap my head around the Rage Shad.
Is that the one, the prop topwater frog thing?
Like a flat, like coin purse looking tab with a flippy.
Yeah, it's like a crab with like a big propeller on the back.
I could never bring myself to throw that.
I actually own a pack of those.
But I've heard people say they catch them, and it's one of those things like that's the way how I feel about these things. I'd have to really get stomped by my co-angler to throw this.
I'm trying to look.
I'm sitting on 3 fish for 4 pounds, and he's calling 4-pounders, and I'm like, all right, maybe I'll try one.
Oh, look.
There it is.
There they are.
Rage Shad.
Y'all didn't know I had a.
I think I have one bag too.
I'm replacing the hard bait wall with the soft bait wall now. I'm getting ready. Yeah, this also. I guarantee you there was a ton of people that bought these and never detached this and just threw it out there and it like flopped in. And they said, "Man, these Rage Shads suck."
Can't believe my rant in the beginning only got you 6 more subscribers today.
6 too many.
You're 16 away from 500. Who wants to make the dream a reality?
Make this man.
Morgan wants to know, where do you stand on Strike King tubes?
I never could get a bid on the Denny Brower tubes.
How did that make you feel? Not getting bid on those.
Yeah. It hurt because I wanted to follow in Denny's footsteps and I wanted to trust Denny. And it turns out once I went from from a child to a man, I realized that Brower's tube sucked, his jig sucked, and he wasn't.
Then you started flipping the prowler tube and catching them.
Yeah, it's like Denny's full of shit. And it really is like, it really was hard for me to wrap my head around, like a guy like Denny Brower who could have anything he wanted by any company, and like he came out with his signature Strike King jig, and it's like the #1 jig flipper in the world. This is it. That ain't it, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like that was the best jig for the best jig flipper in the world. But maybe, I mean, I guess it was. I don't know. But it just didn't seem like it fit the part.
Yeah, I couldn't throw the Berkeley Beast. That thing was ugly. There wasn't a period of time if somebody had some Strike King flipping tubes, you knew they were like studying Bassmaster.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like, this guy's reading, because it was a deal, dude. Like when the tube started, you'd see it slip in, and like guys flipping bushes on Rayburn and Toledo, you'd see like a guy pitching tube. There's a lot of tube pitching going on.
I don't accept DMs from minors, Brendan.
What is the yeah, there's some ugly stuff over here, dude.
Got a DM from Panger. He's not happy about the one day. He must have got a bad boat drop.
Here was a bait design I always thought was cool. This was Dr. Ketchum's, a little obscure bait company out of North Alabama.
It's true. We don't have a lot of new faces tonight. It's mostly campers here. It's kind of an ugly looking toad.
It was, but they had these like, it was like you remember building paper airplanes as a kid, and you like folded the sides of the wings up. They kind of did that.
Sure.
Cool frog. It kind of swam like ass though. But I'm surprised somebody hasn't revisited that.
Why has nobody knocked this off and brought it back?
I know, it's kind of shocking. There's tons of those. I'm surprised that people hadn't knocked off.
Oh, look at this. Maybe this will change your opinion of the bungee hog. The bungee hog has eyes.
Ooh, whose is that?
That's AJ's.
Does he fish that?
That's sitting in your IGDMs right now. You may never be able to unsee it.
You know how I would rig that? I would rig it sideways, and I would run my hook through the eyeball to pop them out. That's how I'd do it.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. Big bite bait, buzzing warmouth. Never threw them.
Big
Too
bite.
ugly.
Big bite is.
I think they should move the eye back further. I think if they got it right in the center next to the shad dot, it'd be much better.
The whole big bite is incapable of making anything like level 2 sexiness.
You like the BFE at all?
No, that's even worse.
Tube craw?
Yeah, the tube crawl's really offensive.
Tube craw smashes though.
It does. Like that's the thing about it. Like that Lake Fork one back in the day that Kelly Jordan would catch like a big fish of every tournament in the early 2000s and late 90s. It was sickening because it was such an ugly bait.
Night, Builder Dude. Thanks for joining in.
So there you go, Hella. You asked what it takes for me. You know how many big bass honors Kelly Jordan won on the tube crawl? Never bought a pack. It was too ugly. Even after Kelly Jordan caught 8-pounder after 8-pounder on it. Over the course of a decade.
Smashing them in the back of the boat on it.
I know. Still, I didn't rush out and buy tube crawls.
The moneymaker and Max Scent. I don't remember the moneymaker drop shot bait.
What's the moneymaker?
What was your favorite Max Scent drop bait? Drop shot. Your favorite Max Scent drop shot bait?
No, Robo Worm. The BFE looks like a hog. What kind of hog? Sassy shad, great bait. I throw the Mr. Twister Classics. This is a cool color.
Shot.
Yeah. The Thunderworm. It's like ghost blue with a red core shot.
Had some colors like that as well.
Yeah. Cool worm.
You swim it?
It's a causeway worm. It's a shrimp eater worm.
DT broke out.
He broke out. Dude, Kelly Jordan was a boss back in the day. What happened to that guy? I wish he could make a comeback.
Yeah, Man's also one of those companies that struggled with good-looking baits. A lot of Man's baits, soft and hard for me, very unattractive.
I think Big Bite's
hard-nosed worm, the dragon, mosquito dragon.
No, they had some definite losers.
Yeah.
I always thought the Hardnose line was a super cool concept that never caught on.
The idea, but the idea was great.
Yeah.
But the shapes of the worms, and they were disgusting.
Disgusting. Vile. vile even.
Chomper's tube is more garlicky for sure.
Let's see if I have some of these repulsive worms you speak of. Because I've got that era stuff in here. Yum. Crawl poppy. What is this stuff? Oh, man. Lots of Zoom. Second best bait company on earth. Where is that thing? I saw a pack of them earlier. I don't know what I did with them. What was that brand we were talking about?
Mans?
Yeah, the hard ones.
The Hardnose.
Hardnose. Here's how you kept your cred in North Alabama back in the day. When you dug through your tackle, you had to pull through one of these out of your boat.
The Marks?
That was like the tackle box of the.
So
of the
up
pros.
here, it was the Capra's Outdoors bag.
When you pulled this out to get your worms out, everybody's like, "Oh, that dude knows what's up." Yeah, I even had this one.
If I got any Minneapolis people, they know the Capra's Outdoor. The jerkbait that Clun was pushing that you filled with water. Yeah, it came with like a little injector.
What are those?
It's true, Morgan. Go ahead and clip that and post it to TikTok.
Did this brand ever make it up to you?
Yep, Seismic.
Yeah.
Guys up here, low key love that as a swim jig trailer.
That one? Yeah.
In the river.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't fish it on the surface; they fished it on a swim jig.
I can see that.
And you're like, I off the record, I may or may not have swam that worm.
Oh, really?
No, I'm saying you. Like,
oh yeah. Let's see. I do have random bags of power bait that I don't know where they came from, like these. A pulse worm, is that desirable?
yeah,
it's 3 inches. Right. It's pretty microscopic.
Yeah, I had some of those. Oh, it's all rivers. They eat the seismic.
Later, guys.
Thanks for the humor and the chat.
Guys. Yeah, he's got to go. It's 10 o'clock. He's got to go crank his hog. I know.
Yeah, we should probably not go 5 hours tonight. So
that would be okay.
TK's just getting warmed up. Yeah, I mean the 10-inch hard-nosed moccasin, that was a winner.
Which one? Oh yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
Look at their toad. I mean, how do you screw up a toad? They did.
Yeah, it's right there in front of you. It's even uglier when the legs face out. I have their crawl somewhere around here in this room because I saw the package earlier.
Swim toad. Yeah. The hard-nosed mosquito hawk. Ugh.
Oh, the mosquito hawk. What about the one that really interested me back in the day? Was this when bass fishing was cool and there was a little bit of mystery to what was going on? There were guys secretly fishing the chicken foot worm thing, and people didn't talk about that thing. And they weren't like by some like big brand that you could go out and buy them. You had to like hunt them down. And I remember, I think Joe Thomas let the cat out of the bag on like a
hard-nosed lizard. Fishing. Look at that thing. The chartreuse head.
Chartreuse head?
That's the head.
Oh,
the
wow.
The hard-nosed head was chartreuse.
That's nauseating.
Just like their power mullet or their hard-nosed mullet. So the hard-nosed free fall Was it the nose, or did they actually? If they would have made the center of the bait hard, they would have had something.
Oh, they've been sitting right here beside me. Man, I got some uglies over here. This must be the ugly bag. Ugh. I don't know why I have these.
Did it really, Travis? Did it really? Pickwick Pirate, thanks for joining. Maybe he's one of the 6 people that subscribed to Tackle Kraft tonight.
Huh?
We're losing people. People want to go to bed. Pull that bad boy out. Let's see that.
It's so bad. Like the arms
shriveled up and it didn't want to come out and just.
I mean, it's like pitching. You might as well just pitch like a 3-inch Cinco, because these things don't even, like, they're so small and they're so like tightly tucked together, like you can't even hardly see them. That is a Ned bait.
You don't need a hard nose on a Ned bait.
Like, I don't know, dude. Like, they really missed with this. I think somebody could revisit this and do okay with it. What
Scope
say
it.
you?
Put on a jig head.
Yeah, if they would have done a hard nosed Ned, I think there's probably,
that was before they called it Neds. Hard.
Yeah, but I think they could, like, if they wanted to, they could maybe do that.
I think that bait, it's the ratio was wrong. The body's too long. I mean, like, if you shorten the body and just make it, it's not as bad, but it like,
looks like a Hellgramite more than a crawfish.
You need to take off like 3 segments off the top and then kind of.
You mean take the hard nose part off?
And then make, yeah. It's like they just took a speed crawl and go, well, let's just add the hard nose to it.
Let's just add the hard nose on top of it and it'll be fine. This color is pretty offensive to me, and I don't know why I own it. It's like the green chartreuse laminate.
Get me some ice cream too, Brendan. I'm hungry.
It's kind of like a Catawba color.
That thing would probably smash up in Minnesota up north.
It'd be good.
Fish can see it. They'll swim 20 feet to eat that.
Really?
They're dumb.
I'll save them for a rainy day. That's what I was thinking about. Like, what do you do with all this crap? Like, what do I do with a 3/4 full pack of green pumpkin hard nose flipping crawls?
You talk about it on Whatnot. You talk about how it's discontinued, rare, one of a kind, and you list it and let it go.
And I sell people 5 of them.
Or you make a bundle.
Make a bundle of all my ugliest worms that repulse me.
Make a 1 pound flat rate package.
That's what would need to happen. Did you ever have these?
No.
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 Not sexy enough?
No. You know what? Since we're talking soft baits, you want to know what's not sexy? The gilly from Berkeley.
Oh, yeah, it is pretty gross. What is this? This is a castaic. It's called the minnow. It's called the minnow worm.
The scope shad.
You could probably scope with it. Castaic was cool then, though. Made in China. Man, they were ahead of the curve. That's a scope bait if I ever saw it. Y'all think this would be a good scope bait? I mean, it's got like the little curly tail.
Put that on a range roller head.
It's got this might hinder things. Is that bad?
I don't think you can do that on YouTube. Put that away. You're going to get us.
Oh, sorry. You have to blur that. We're going to get canceled. Whatever. What else is in this weird bag? Cotton candy Fat Albert grubs. I went through
that's where you put the bait pop.
I went through a cotton candy phase.
I caught a few fish on a cotton candy lizard at one time.
Yeah, man, I have lizards. I got fat Alberts. I got I even made a cotton candy spinner bait to match the fat Albert. There's some ugly big bites. What is this? Wow. I bought
BBC
them
fanboying again.
because they're the exact same thing as a Zoom. Do you throw? Did you grow up throwing red shad?
Yeah,
You did.
red shad.
This is
pumpkin seed, not green pumpkin. Pumpkin seed.
Pumpkin seed was classic.
Dark grape.
I like this profile. This is a Berkeley worm. Anybody remember the name? It's a different name. It's Sabertail era.
The Tequila Sunrise was big up here.
Give another look.
That's not a bad.
No, it's a pretty. I like it. It's a little wrinkled up, but
yeah, black grape productos.
I like this. I'd probably fish these. They don't smell like.
You'd have to go fishing to fish it, but in theory,
I'll set them out to take with me next time. And you know what? I'll probably catch like 2 4-pounders, and then I'll have to stay on eBay trying to find these.
Red shad, Lunker City Sluggo.
Sluggos were awesome.
I kind of skipped right to power slugs.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Red shad, black shad, and pumpkin seed power slugs smashed.
This was called the mud critter.
I would not have gotten there.
Yeah, that's not an oddity. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
So Teal says you missed the spawn. You have 2 bags of red shad.
I do. I've got my dark and the shad. I had to have the gill color and the shad color. Man, I was really getting dialed. I was clueless.
You know what? Something my dad and I caught the fire out of them on was electric blue Guido bugs.
Electric blue Guido bugs. I don't own any Guido bugs. I don't remember ever seeing those for sale.
They're honestly like literally thinking about it now, the Guido bugs were a Ned. That's all they were. No action.
Oh man. It's on my Strike King stuff.
The Guido bug. Look at that.
Which one is this?
Texas Riggin, the Guido bug.
Oh, here's the wild thing. Did you ever get into the wild thing?
I had a couple packs. Never really
I mean, that's kind of. Is that
not a few fish on it? Never really took off for me.
That won't pass as a tube crawl.
I mean, probably if you took the side arms off, it would.
Take these.
Yeah.
Those are pretty nice. What are these?
Why can't I pull up an electric blue Guido bug? This is outrageous.
Look at this little dorky ass tube, dude. This is the Brower flipping tube. Look how thin it is.
It's the China version.
And the plastic's terrible. Terrible taper. I don't like anything about this. Like, I feel like the hookup ratio on these has got to be horrific.
I did in one of my soft plastic bundle that Bobby Bell ended up, there was a black and blue LaRue hog craws in there. The big salt craw.
Which one?
The Jean LaRue hog craw and black blue pinchers.
So Jean LaRue made possibly one of the biggest fish catching baits ever, and it's very tube crush, and it's also very woolly hogtailish, and it was called the Who Daddy.
Yeah.
And it was huge. And if you needed a 6, just pitch that thing the rest of the day. It was big. The Who Daddy. You wouldn't get many bites on that thing, but they had like a big Who Daddy that was huge. It was like 6 inches long, dude.
This is there's the Who Daddy Junior and the 4.5-inch Who Daddy.
Yeah, you had to have the Magnum.
The double wide Who Daddy.
Yeah, the double wide Who Daddy. That thing would get you paid, bro.
Not the 4. There was one bigger in the heart. The 4.5 wasn't the big one, I don't think.
No, they had a massive one.
Oh, do you remember this thing? Oh, it went away. But there was a. It showed it in like the little picture. This thing. I don't know if you can see that. It's I want to say it's like a text.
That looks like the mosquito hawk from my
yeah,
from
no,
my
it was
perspective.
it's like 5 stick baits stuck together.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Kicker fish, I think.
Yeah. Hell, I think there's been like a Japanese company that's come back out with that same concept. Like it's just it's like a bunch of Cincos glued together. There's the chicken foot worm. What did you search? Ugly soft plastics?
No, it showed.
Is that a jackal drift crawl or drift crab?
This one over here is a Z-Man.
Oh, yeah, that's what it
Crab
is.
Z Slam crab. Shady. I like that name. The Crab Z Slam Shady.
It's pretty douchey. Like, color names like that irk me because, like, if I pull up beside you and you're throwing that, like, nobody wants to say, yeah, bro, I'm smashing them on the Slam Shady. And they're like, what is that? Like, I'm not going to throw that just because you sound like a loser. Slam Shady, bro, you know. Zoom in. Chicka Slam Shady. Man. Whatnot, here I come.
Yeah, UV tight lines was way ahead of their time with all the skirts sticking out of their baits.
They were. I wasn't
told the thing is, they would put like the most bright, obnoxious skirt color though. It wasn't anything like subtle and cohesive. It'd be like, green pumpkin, and then it'd have like purple and chartreuse strands.
Yeah, they had no like vision of color. It was bad.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up in the next 7 minutes. Putting a timer on this.
Let me show this one. This one's interesting. So this worm was from late 80s, early 90s from my dad's saltwater collection. And they used to use it for whatever. Spanish mackerel, speckled trout, redfish, flounder. But I robbed them and in the mid 2000s for one purpose. What do you think a young Tackle Kraft would use this for?
I mean, when I look at it now, I see a bladed jig trailer, but that's probably not what it was at the time.
That was what it was.
Okay.
So I dug these up and I was like, man, this is awesome. And it's tough, like it's tough saltwater plastic, and the tail is like super. Is a badass, but like that's all I have, and it's in a like plastic bag. There's no brand, so I tried not to throw them like a ton, and I only had that red and white color.
That's where you need to leverage the new AI, like where you like on your screen and you circle what you want to search, and then there's like an image search to like figure it out.
Maybe. I don't know if you could find this design. Like, I don't know what it could have just been some like houseworm from somewhere that will never be seen again. But I think you could redo this.
Grizzly Shad says they look like gummy sharks.
Yeah, kind of. Like if at the time I would have like had this produced, it would have been way ahead of the game in the
So Teal
Chatterbait.
says, look up Down South Lures. They have one that's similar. It's a spec bait.
You know, that's my other one of my favorite chatterbait trailers. Let me show you.
We're getting into the camper stuff now. He's just us and 56 of our closest friends hanging out.
Just us girls. You mean these, Tyler? But these have a little kicker on the back, but it's still
Just
a
a
good
little kicker,
to us.
much like the Arsenal Tactical, just a little tiny paddle tail on it.
Yeah, good chatterbait trailer. I've got hundreds of these, and they come in bone, which is cool. Diamond bone. You know all the juice. Shit don't slip by me, bro. Don't slip by me. See a big 2-ounce bullet head back to a trailer. How do you feel about Hell, I'm sure you have a very strong opinion on this. Like Zoom Super Chunk versus a big salty chunk. Aesthetically.
Yeah, I don't like the big salty chunk.
No. It catches big ones.
That's one of those things that I know it works, so I have a hard time wrapping my head around it.
I saw like 3 packs of them down there today, and I was like, man, I'm never going to throw those because they're too ugly. They don't look right.
I'd rather throw a piece of pork.
Yeah, like it looks like you've got a sleek jig, and then you put a refrigerator on the back. It just doesn't. It breaks up the sleekness of a jig. Now you throw just a super chunk on there, and it's got the curves.
Number 11, pork frog.
Title Gun's got all the saltwater trash baits, pretty much. There's a lot of good saltwater stuff.
The pro chunk.
The pro chunk.
I was kind of a big that pro style chunk, like the Yum chunk, the Z, or the Zoom chunk that wasn't the refrigerator. I was through a phase where I went through those, even the Strike King one. No, I'm a Menace Scrub Speed Craw guy.
I'm not a huge fan of the way a Speed Craw looks as a jig trailer. I tried swimming one for a while and it got bit, but it wasn't my favorite. I rather just pitch one, but as a jig trailer, it always kind of looked odd. What was another one that you mentioned?
I know you don't like the Menace Scrub because it's Strike King.
Yeah, but the Menace has got a sexy profile. It's like simple and it like fits inside the jig good.
Spicy beaver on a jig?
Too much bulk for me.
I mean, when you want to move, well, I mean, it's a situational thing for me. It's not an everyday thing. It's like a.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys used to use like a regular sweet beaver on the as a jig trailer, and that always offended me too. Just because it was
it's a thing that gets a big bite.
Yeah, it's a lot of bait, but it wasn't. It never looked right. Like it was a waste of a beaver to me. Like I felt like I got the same profile with like a full size super chunk. Like,
yeah, that's probably my biggest thing is not wanting to burn. Usually, when I've done it is when I've torn the nose out of a beaver and it's laying in the pile. Then I'll pick it up and thread it on as a jig trailer.
Yep, you gotta make use of the scraps.
Tyler Williams he's the big flapping. He likes to put the full size flapping hog, the Yamamoto, on there.
That's a big jig.
Yeah.
Is he dragging?
I actually do like the small D bombs and the small beavers on little finesse jigs.
Yeah,
especially in cooler water.
Yeah, smallie beaver I can see on like a spiderhead jig. Looking good. Matchy. It's gotta be matchy. It's gotta be matchy. Soft bait glue? You mean super glue?
And there's only so much repairing you can do a beaver before it's gone. Like you can mend it a little bit, but you're not. I mean, you might get one more fish out of it before it's trash, but
mend it. Picasso's.
I have not
pork.
tried the Picasso pork.
No. I feel like Picasso is a pretty cool brand. They're kind of an odd. They're an oddity. I feel like they make good products that are well thought out. They just kind of.
It's true. Beavers have maintained price, and everything else is caught up to beavers now. Beavers used to be really pricey, but now they're average.
Yeah, I remember when they were like $5.29 a pack or like $4 something. It's like, man, I'm not using these as a jig trailer. And you couldn't get them everywhere, so you weren't going to like blow them as a jig trailer.
But I will say the beavers, they still come like 10 to a pack or whatever, 8 to a pack or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But all the rest of the stuff, like the spicy beavers and all that stuff's like 5 to a pack.
Ouch. Yeah, I'd like to see, that would be a great bait to introduce in the Hardnose lineup. If they would do a Hardnose beaver, that'd be sweet.
The beaver would be sweet.
Same with Roboworm. All the KOs are more expensive. The Mr. James. Oh, man. We don't talk about the Mr. James beavers. Mr. James.
I sold the Trixie Shark pack on Whatnot the other night.
It
was either the Trixie Shark or the other. There's 2 of them. I think it was the shark. There was one that had a single tail, one that had a double tail. I forget which one's which.
I think the shad had a single, and then the shark had a double, maybe.
That was the shad, the Trixie shad that I sold then.
So
what's it going to take you to get on Whatnot? What's got to happen? Let's talk about this.
I need. I don't know. I got to figure out how to bundle this stuff and like get it to where
I think you should just find some of your hard baits that you can part with and start there.
I'm trying to start a collection. I've been assembling baits that I want to paint that would be good for Whatnot, and I'd like to get some of these soft plastics bundled up to where I'm not just like I don't want to hawk my shit on people. I'd rather give it away than try and sell it, and pretend.
Well, I mean, here's like if you just want to get rid of plastics, you put them in bundles. You go next time you're dropping off our camper baits at the post office, you grab some of those flat rate envelopes, and then you just put kits in flat rate envelopes for priority mail of soft plastics, and you start them for $1.
There you go.
And if somebody wants to bid more than $1, that's on them. Yeah. They see value, right? Like, and
but there's some of this stuff that like I want to keep just because.
Sure. Because you're a hoarder.
I'm a hoarder, and like
this. You want to be able to talk about them on these streams. The ones,
right? What else would I talk about? But like this was a very, very. I feel like this is a color that was ahead of its time. And the company, nobody knew who they were. The company was out of McCalla, Alabama, called SOF Bait Company. And they made this needle worm, but the color is like, it's like this green, red, goldy roadkill looking laminate with like a iridescent blue. Pearl bottom. Like, This was reaction-ish before reaction, right? Like you didn't see colors like this.
That's where Andre got all his ideas.
Could have. I mean, it looks like something you would see them come out with, but this was before them. So
so the hard baits that you would sell on Whatnot, you would paint them all?
Oh, yeah.
So you wouldn't sell you just don't have any baits that you would just list and
I mean, I do, but why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just paint them? Because I mean, if I've got them, they're probably if I've got them and I'm willing to sell them, they're probably ugly. Like I have them for a reason, and that reason was for me to paint them.
I think what you would find is that you would get a lot of enjoyment of talking through the baits that you painted and give the story
Oh,
as you
sure.
sell them. And I think the
Sure.
audience would enjoy it as well.
Definitely. The like this bait. This is this was my this was like what, when I was a kid or when I first started painting, this is what I always dreamed that I wanted my bluegills to look like. Actual bluegills, right? Not like this. Like that didn't cut it. When Strike King said, "Oh, you need a bluegill?" That's what bluegills look like. No, that's not what bluegills look like. Bluegills look like that. And this bait had an interesting story. I was fishing in Texas, and I was throwing this around some reeds, and there was like a gap of clean water between the reeds and the coontail. And the fish were just cruising in that ditch, but they wouldn't hit anything except a crankbait in that little small ditch. So I had like a pitch, and I'd reel it down a couple times, and you could get a bite like that. But so I was getting hung in these reeds, and my line was getting all sawed up, and I saw like a 3-pounder just sitting there. I was like, oh, let's see what he does. So I pitched it up there, reeled it down. Fish ran over there and just clobbered the bait. And I set the hook and my line broke. I was like, son of a bitch. But the fish never moved. He just sat there, and he started going. And I could see him like moving the bait around in his mouth, and he went and blew it out. And I was like, oh, sweet, there's my bait. And it floated up to the surface, and I went over there to go get it. And that damn 3-pounder like T-bones this bait again and hooks himself again. I'm like, no, dude. And I start like slapping the water, trying to get the fish to like run off, and he like shakes his head and it comes up again. And I got my bait back. I have a GoPro video of this, where I was back in the day when I was running a GoPro, and you can't really tell what I'm doing, but you can see me break my line and then go over there and like start hitting the water to get the fish to let the bait go. And yeah, he kept attacking it. So that told me that fish got stuck with hooks, but he saw it again.
He's like, that's
he saw it again. He said, that's legit, dude. Like, I'm gonna eat that. So maybe there's something
in your John B days.
Yeah. Yep. So maybe there is something to all this nerdy paint. That's what I dreamed to have my prop baits look like. The great thing about custom painting now, Morgan, is you can buy some stencil that somebody knocked off of this that looks just like it.
I mean, Morgan, get him in now, but otherwise AI is just going to replace TK anyway. So
yeah. Yep. Get in now while humans are still painting baits. Man, here you go. Here's a prime example. This is the Tackle Kraft of the future. This was Tackle Kraft of the past. That's where we began. I wanted this to look like this. But somehow this, I don't know how I got here. Because this looks nothing like that.
it's a process.
I learned it is a process. You got to figure it all out.
TK can just start cutting stencils for you on his Cricut and send you your own stencils, not have to bother painting.
Yeah, back then you had to do it on had to do it
with an X-Acto blade.
Yeah, it was hard as shit, dude. Because you dick them up, and once you messed up a cut, that was done. You had to start over.
All right, it's 3 hours. I actually have to get to bed so I can be productive tomorrow and get ready to go to Mexico on Saturday. So,
oh man.
So no stream next Wednesday. I don't think Mrs. Hella is going to approve a stream from Puerto Vallarta.
Oh, you're not going Mexico bass fishing?
No.
Yeah. I just talked to a guy that came back from there. He caught 160 fish a day on a glide bait.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. He said he got a follower every cast.
It'd be way better to get him on a swimming worm.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, did you throw a speed worm? It's like, no. Mindy Magic football head? No. Okay. Well, drop shot? No. Well, sounds like a shitty trip.
Glide bait. Sounds
right,
exhausting.
Boys. Huh?
Glide bait sounds exhausting.
Probably would be.
All that twitching and big, like, heavy bait.
Yeah, you probably don't have to do much down there. Like you can probably just do it with your reel and not have to exert too much energy. Because you probably, like, when that big bait hits the water, you probably don't have to move it a whole lot to get one to smash it.
Yeah. It's like throwing your frog on pigstone.
Pretty much. You just hit the bank. I gotta sneeze.
Bless you. Thanks for covering up. I don't want to get sick before my trip.
I know. Oh. I got a bunch of whatnot bandits.
All right. Thanks. I didn't run the Dream Team ad tonight, so you guys. Thanks to the Dream Team.
Sorry, Dream Team. Appreciate y'all.
TK. He was too busy ranting. Just never thought about it.
Sorry, guys.
All right. We'll wrap it up. Thanks, TK. Be
Enjoyed
good.
it, dudes.
We should probably get some baits painted this week. So
yeah, tomorrow's the day.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if anybody caught my digital cold.
I can probably watch from the pool. I'll be the next 10 days I'll be all about the midday tackle streams.
You'll be over there sipping pina coladas. What do you drink down there? Do you drink Miami Vice?
Sometimes. That's like a once a day thing. The Miami Vice, like the normal thing is like some beers or margaritas or what's the wife? Wife likes mojitos, so a lot of times if there's 2 for 1s, I'm getting a mojito.
Just lounging by the pool.
Yeah, hanging out, getting the sun. Not driving my kids to hockey practice.
Yeah, sounds nice.
Yeah.
How about Everclear? Brendan trying to take us on a musical roller coaster.
Not 19. I don't drink Everclear. I don't drink WAP loaded with Everclear.
Oh, I thought he was talking about the band. He's talking about drinking Everclear. No thanks, bro. Nobody sits around and sips Everclear. Unless you're Pat Green.
So I did do a poll earlier, and it said, "Who's enjoying unpacking TK's deep thoughts?" And it was 96% yes, 4% no.
Tell me who the 4% were.
I don't know. I'm guessing they left.
Give me their names.
They're the ones that did not subscribe to Tackle Kraft.
You know what's crazy is YouTube only notified me of one.
486. You don't get notifications for all your subscribers. I don't get hardly any notifications for subscribers.
No, I did get one, and then after that, it would be fun if you would just if it would have started dinging like a slot machine,
like Instagram does every time you get a follower, or TikTok.
My Instagram is flawed. It doesn't do that. The only thing that does it is when I would sell stuff on eBay. You would get like when Randy Howell won the Classic, and I was painting DT6s in Demon. Ding. I got the slot machine. Ding 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 ding. Like they would sell that fast.
There's another app that I don't remember which one it is that does that. Yeah.
AJ Games Instagram followers.
All
right. Cut me off.
Cut you off. We're turning it off.
Later, dudes. Enjoyed it.
Be good.